What is up, friends? Welcome to NECC Overwatch. Happy Friday. You've made it to the weekend, and now we get to celebrate with some collegiate action. My name is Jeff here alongside Ray as we get into our final week of the regular season.
Very excited. We got two amazing matchups for you guys. One is coming from two of the top four teams currently in ABC as we get the BSC Bobcats going up against Northwood Blue. Very exciting, as we mentioned. They are both top four in ABC right now, so they're not actually matching up against each other in top four. So this is a nice surprise to be able to see.
And it could be a preview of what we might see throughout that championship and as we get further throughout this collegiate era in general. We've now, we're going to talk about this before we go live, has BSC kind of stepped up into this top four role? And I was even posing the question, are they even an underdog anymore up here against Northwood Blue? Because they feel like they've truly risen to the very tip-top level here of collegiate Overwatch.
Yeah, they made some key signings in the offseason, getting Peace and NY, and it was just amazing to see that, because last season when we were at the LAN for CECC and NECC, it felt like BSC definitely didn't fulfill the almost stature that they brought in Overwatch, and they were kind of a little bit disappointing and the meta didn't really work for them. And now that they've made these signings and these changes, they have looked very good in this meta so far.
It has been quite the turnaround. Like, they fell very, very short. I think far short of their expectations, kind of closing out the spring 24 season. And it felt like they just struggled to kind of get caught with the meta like you were talking about. Season 9 brought with it a lot of massive sweeping changes into the competitive scene. BSC seemed to struggle to adapt to that, but coming in with those badass pickups, with those amazing additions to this roster, yeah, they are firing all cylinders and absolutely looking top four here as they take on Northwood Blue.
And with Northwood, we all kind of know Northwood as like one of those up tier echelon teams. I mean, they were competing with ISU in both CECC and NECC last year for the title, essentially. Coming into this season, they did lose Rocket and they lost Vega, and they haven't been as good as we're used to, but they've still been obviously top four in ABC. It's just they've fallen a little bit short of where we normally expect them to be.
Well, and we talked to Foster at the beginning of the season, and this was to be expected. The coach from Northwood was saying that they're expecting a slow start out of the gate. There's a lot going on. A lot of these players are participating, in different leagues that have been going on around, including OWCS, and to where it felt like their focus was a little bit divided here at the start of the season, but that we can expect them to pick up steam and continue to improve and become more of that top echelon team that we're known to see from Northwood. But so this is not necessarily unexpected from the coaching staff at Northwood, and we've been assured that they'll get it together here as we move forward.
Yeah, and of course, in losing Rocket and Vega, two superstars in OWCS everywhere, and you were going to expect some, not like a little bit of a drop off, but it was going to take some time to get back up to where they needed to be. Even if you got two really good players to replace them, it was just going to take time to build that chemistry, given, as you mentioned, they're all kind of split between so many different things right now, OWCS, collegiate, a lot of different things, even Face-It League and stuff like that. So now that they have a chance, they've really gotten their groove together. They've been, as a team, playing more, especially with ABC coming in, where they're constantly playing every weekend together. So as you mentioned, this is probably where things start to turn around and change. Question is, do they bring the energy and the skill they need to this game? Because sometimes, we saw them against, I believe it was ISU earlier, where it didn't feel like a very great game. ISU kind of rolled them, but that was still the beginning. They were still getting things together. That's my only thing, is do they bring the energy into something like this? Because I know with ABC, everyone brings their top tier. Sometimes, with the way things go, sometimes NECC, not every team brings their A game every week.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm kind of looking back through my notes here. And yeah, it was definitely felt like they were kind of, I don't know, still getting it together. I mean, it's IC's first entry into collegiate here, so that was literally IC's first game, I think, kind of getting in the mix here with Northwood. I was sitting there thinking, I was checking my notes, seeing were they even off rolling that night? Did they even have all five of their starters? I mean, it was one of those where it felt like they didn't even have that kind of, like, where somebody wasn't even on the right roll. Like, they didn't feel like they were top tier Northwood whatsoever when we saw them against ISU.
You would have to imagine that regardless of how this game goes, is going to be a great warm up for both of their games that they'll be having to play soon in ABC Top 4, as BSC will be taking on ISU and Northwood's taking on Winthrop. Both very challenging teams for both of them to be able to face. So being able to go up against another team who are like in that same echelon that they're in right now is only going to be good things to get them ready for those matches.
And you got to think those are your number one and number two team in collegiate at this point, right? So it's arguable over which one. You're defending champs of ISU, who pretty much won everything, gone through the end of the 23 to 24 semester. ISU just basically won every league possible on that, including ABC itself. And then Winthrop have come in and it's that classic American tornado roster, essentially, with Weeds at the helm. And they've pretty much beaten everybody that they've come across thus far. So with those two as your number one and number two, it's like we kind of talked about before. It's after that. And is this matchup we see here today, is this something we see further down the line of ABC Homecoming? Is this going to be your losers bracket final? Assuming that everything goes the way we would expect it to go against those top two teams. I mean, I think BSC and Northwood might still be the two best teams in that lower bracket as well.
Exactly. And this could kind of determine who is that third team up there who would, take home the third place prize, and determine a lot in, for a school like BSC, who's always been in those top, let's just say 12 teams in collegiate, to basically be fighting now for a possible third place essentially is a big deal. So they have a lot to play for, and Northwood has a reputation they like to continue to uphold. So they're definitely not going to be backing down either. So a lot for both teams on the line.
And that is one thing where Northwood is absolutely one of those teams. And this is kind of heralds back to what I was talking about with talking to Fossis at the start of the season, where they step up when it matters most. So what we see out of here regular season Northwood, even if we see BSC come on top today, don't let that automatically get in your brain that BSC is going to be the better team come playoffs. Northwood is definitely one of those teams that turns it up in the postseason, and I can't wait to get started into our postseason. But, first things first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Ray. We still got one more week of regular season, figure things out, figure out some seeding. But yeah, once we get into playoffs, that's when all bets are off.
Exactly, and pretty sure that for NECC purposes, this match is just kind of a seeding kind of thing. As we mentioned, both teams are going to make the playoffs, so they may match up against each other again in the NECC playoffs. So this is also a good foreshadow. Okay, let's see what this team wants to do. How do we match up against them for future, more important playoff games against them? So I think this is going to be a great thing for both teams.
There's a lot of overlap as well. A lot of these players play each other and have played against each other in different leagues outside of collegiate. Face It League going on, and you're playing 2 matches a week for that. Ninwai playing for Avidity in that squad, playing in NAMAS for Face It League. Peace is playing on 03 Splash. Lep is playing on 03 Splash. You've got Haven playing on Fluffy Dreamlit. So there's overlap with that as well. And how much experience these players have playing against each other and playing with each other. It makes for a very fun matchup when we get to see the collegiate. One of my favorite parts of watching collegiate is kind of watching these very experienced path to pro players end up on a little bit different sides and kind of facing off against former teammates and things like that.
And this is where things get exciting for me, because I did watch you guys. I believe you guys did BSC versus Fisher, I want to say, earlier on in the NECC season. And
sounds right.
The only thing I took away from that, I've been very high on BSC since I've seen them in CGL, is one of the other leagues they do. And the only thing I always had for them was Peace is so talented, and sometimes he could just overextend a little bit. And I think against a team like Northwood, they can definitely punish that. So have BSC figure that out a little bit, where they still allow Peace to go out there and make the big pop-off plays that we know Peace could do because he's so talented. But he doesn't go too far and get himself, picked off in certain situations where you kind of weren't hoping for that to happen.
I mean, that's part of making a play, right? That's part of the high risk, high reward play style. I mean, in Peace, one of the biggest up and coming DPS in a path to pro. I mean, be it collegiate or into OWCS and basically things of that nature. I mean, Peace has been a rising star here for the past several months. As we take a look at that starting roster, we'll be there. Alongside manually. With Pantera will be your take. Face it off against Cowman's in today. Okay, so no Icy here from Northwood today.
That's the one thing I forget, man. Not only did they get Peace and Nenway, but they also got Pantera on their tank line.
Correct.
So it is fantastic moves made by BSC. And yeah, that's the most interesting thing because Cowman definitely, when I think of Northwood, Cowman is actually the one person I think of. Nothing against Icy, but
oh no, Cowman's been there since like day one.
Yeah, Cowman's just so synonymous with Northwood to me.
Yeah.
It's just like that's the first player I think of when I think of this. So I love seeing him in these situations, and he's a very talented tank, and he's actually, I think, one of the more flexible tanks I've ever seen.
I won't disagree with that. Cowman definitely has a lot of flexibility, which is very useful in this meta. I mean, how things have shaken up since the new patches dropped, and we've seen a recent nerfed, and we saw the orbital ray from Juno nerfed, and that's coming on the back of earlier nerfs to Juno and Brig. So with that, the meta has definitely shaken up a little bit. We're starting to see a lot more individuality poke through. We're starting to see a lot more Junker Queen come out. A little bit more of a little bit more of the Ana and the Winston making a return to form. It's kind of opened the playing field here for our teams.
Couldn't agree with you more. And especially for Northwood, I think one of their biggest X factors coming into this series is definitely going to be Haven. For me, Haven has such high ceilings when it comes to their play. Like, there'll be games where I just see them and my mind is just blown. I'm just like, whoa, what the heck was that? And then he can just be very streaky at times. But when Haven is on it, he will run the lobby.
No doubt at all. Let's get a look at our map pool here for today. Looks like we finally got it in. Remember, our map pool, this will be a 1st to 3. We will have your choice of hybrid or escorts for map 2 and 5, and then a choice between Flashpoint and Clash there for map number 4. But just good old-fashioned control here to kick things off. And it's going to be Ilios here. I don't. Did you see our band there, Ray? I didn't see what our band was. I got to be honest.
I did not see that anywhere. So.
I like seeing the band. It's not that big a deal.
So do I.
It's not that big a deal, but I do like seeing the band.
Are thinking.
We'll get it for you next time, friends. I promise. The voice in my head just told us we had a Busan band coming in,
which is interesting because Ilios, normally that's not in like what I've seen recently is a lot of teams have been picking Nepal as their first map. Ilios tends to. NA's not really teams who like to run dive all the time. That's kind of what this map is synonymous for as we're starting out on well. But I think it's going to work into what Peace likes to do a lot because, Peace loves to play that Tracer, loves to play that Genji, and that works very well. But it looks like for this map, I mean, no surprises here. Orisa is just too good.
2, 1. Round 1.
Start the comp. Ground and pound. A little bit of the old Goblin comps, what I like to call it. We're going to get the cast in for a little bit more close range on this one, so don't see the flash. His initial approach right on the point. Looks like BSC looking to take Cage. Northwood coming right up Main Street.
Boat trying to jostle for positioning on his Genji.
Yeah, and he's able to play the high ground. One of the benefits of this Genji, kind of look around as he drop it in. Whoop! Caught Peace a little off guard. Looked like Peace's eyes went wide. The exclamation point above the head, but BSC successfully mostly disengaged out of Cage. I mean, it looks like Pantera still holding the line up there. That is Pantera with the streamer mode. Sorry about that. But PB Lover is Pantera. I'm going to call him by their real name. They're going to get an opening pick here, manually following that up. First fight will go over to BSC, despite Northwood sneaking out some free percentage.
I think for BSC, they forfeited the percentage to just be able to push that Cage area that much better, and they were able to pick off Boat. And that, I mean, yeah, you'll give up 11% to cleanly win that fight. As we see the difference in the support line where Northwood's going with more of the double speed with the Lucio Juno, but I kind of like the Brig better in this meta, provides nice defense for your own Juno. The Lucio Juno can just be very squishy, so you have to be very careful.
You do get that double burst of speed. But played off this left side all by themselves. Peace just kind of runs off. You see the power that Lucio's left comes in to help out on this flank. Moves into the backline manually low, has the Deadeye, and Haven's able to find Peace elsewhere. Rally popped, orbital ray thrown in here from both of our teams, and sound barrier invested from left as well. So all 4 support support ults out on the battlefield. And everybody just kind of sat and waited for a moment. Both moves in. Terra Surge out from Pantera just doesn't land. And it looks like Northwood are going to bring this one back. And there's the reset.
That's a very favorable fight for them. Not only did they flip that point relatively early in on the fight, but they got BSC to commit so many ultimates to that fight. Left now going to swap over to the Berg, which I think is going to be smart for the long-term play. But now Northwood, with their tank and DPS ultimates, can just look to play aggressively because BSC's just got to hope Peace finds a 5-piece with this blade or something, man.
Yeah, they invested forward in Northwood's too, and Northwood comes up with a fight win. That could be just the disaster that turns this whole map. We'll see what happens here with this 3-ult fight out of Northwood. You can combine the Terror Surge with the Blade, always a nice one. That was a good little energy javelin up top just to keep Peace in check. There's the speed in, there's the Blade out from Peace. The one ultimate BSC has, need to find something with it. That cut lands. Boat manages to return the favor equally. Peace is low off the outside as the Blade fades. It looks like everybody from BSE holding under the windmill for now. Trying to make a move in onto Cowman. Boat trying to come in and back him up, but Peace getting the better end of that deal. Follows up with another one. Peace with a nice little 3K here in the fight. BSC flipped this thing.
You talked about how Peace is one of the up-and-coming NA DPS players, and they just put that on full display. We were talking about the huge ult advantage Northwood was going to have, but Peace said, sorry, folks, I'm here to save the day, and got 2 with his blade, and then followed up with 3, basically got a 5-piece like I said they needed to do.
Oh, huge, huge. Oh, now Haven using the one ult that's left, and with that awesome display of power from Peace, that has put BSC right back in this macro. Haven loops around to this high ground, put some shots towards the well. Orbital Ray moving in towards Northwood spawn, and BSC are all just huddled inside the space laser. Not able to get any kills with it. Cowman now moving back onto the point with Pantera giving chase. Cowman surrounded by Bobcats at the moment, ends up being a trade onto the Genjis. A 4v4 here on this point with BSC gaining percentage. Terror Surge, throw it in, try to close it out. Oh, and that'll do the job right there.
Yeah, manually did a great job with that high noon of creating a situation where Northwood could not push and they had to get corralled back, and BSC was able to take all of the spacing. 3% left.
We'll get Boat with the touch. At least initiate the overtime, and it costs all the cooldowns to make it happen. Cowman comes back on the Doomfist. Both rallies have been thrown in. Both Briggs just shield bash each other to the ground. And NY low. Put that shield up desperately. And Pantera and Peace come up with the kills. BSC doing a good job of taking control here. Pantera manually should close this out. Just one lone Cowman Doomfist to beat. They are done. Team kill. Map 1 to BSC. Well, round 1 at the very least.
Again, we talked about it. Came down to that one fight to me when Northwood had 3 ults, 2 pieces blade, and Peace was just able to make it work and flip the ultimate economy back on its head and really get BSC back to Curry favor when it came to that. So that pretty much put everything back into perspective for them, and now they're able to flip that. Manually did a great job on the Cassidy, continuing to buy their team space, and they really coasted to victory there. So as Northwood, we move to this next map and adjustments they need to make. It looks like for this map, for Lighthouse, we do tend to think of this map is no matter what, it tends to be dive. And we see Northwood's going with the Diva variant up against BSC, who's going to play the Winston.
Yeah, imagine, we're going to get the swap over the Tracer, so we're also going to get Peace on the Echo versus Haven on the Ashe as well. So it's a little bit more bursty aerial control from Peace, but that long range, you know, you're talking about when Haven gets hot, they can just take over a lobby. There it is, first blood right there to Northwood, and Haven finds an NY.
Not only that, but CJ was able to find that big nade coming in as well, which did just completely wrap things up, along with Haven just hitting those shots. So very great opening gambit from Northwood, and they're going to take the point immediately.
You see Cowman putting a lot of pressure on the Proto on that high ground, just not allowing that backline to set up at all. This is maximum map control coming out from Northwood Blue. And there's still... Oh, Pantera's purple, no health, stuck up top, nowhere for a monkey to go. What is a Winston to do?
Not a whole lot, but they did get it in exchange for the Diva mech. So unless, you know, you're able to get a lot of... Oh, man, Haven finds the headshot on a Piece. That is just a complete reset for BSC now.
Yeah, Proto's not even going to make it out. You hear the sleep dart go out, doesn't land. And Haven having themselves a hell of a map here. It's just that range. You get Haven set up on that backside. Pantera now swapping over to Diva to see if they can counter.
I think that's going to be the smart play. I think the Diva going up against the Winston, it puts a lot of pressure, especially because not only do you have to deal with the Diva putting pressure on your Winston, but as Winston, you have to make sure you get the Haven space, and they just haven't been able to do that properly. And this DM is definitely going to help out with a lot of that.
And I mean, that is the goal. Go get in Haven's face. Make Haven uncomfortable. God, Haven just still manages to get first blood. Haven just loops back to the point. Has all their friends to back him up. Bodyguarded by Cowman and all the rest of the Timberwolves. And, well, okay, there's the equalizer. But say the pack was not able to get a kill there for a while. Peace gets de-necked, though. So still a bit of an advantage to Northwood. Haven is going to mount on that advantage with a kill on the Peace as well. This is looking like a flawless round here for Northwood. We could be quickly headed over to Ruins for this final sub-map.
It is another rally. He's going to come out with a big stun, but manually still able to survive.
Oh, the boop off the side! Then what? The big pickup from Avidity, the addition here to the Bobcats might just give him a little ray of hope at the very end of this map. Ninwai comes up with another one, able to finish off the pilot, and there's the flip. Bobcats aren't done here, Ray.
They are not. Haven will have a Bob to re-engage, and again, we talked about it. At any given moment, Haven can really start to run the lobby. They seem to have caught fire, no pun intended, with the Ash Dynamite, but again, I think it's really going to be on them for Northwood to really set things up and find an opening pick to just end this right here and now for Northwood and send us to map number 3.
Interestingly enough, Cowman is looping down low. You see Peace and Pantera moving, just trying to control this high ground. And Lep just fins them away. Meanwhile, Haven's throwing a Bob out. Where? I don't even know where the Bob went. Hey, Mr. Butler got themselves a pick. And it's a +2 here to Northwood as they flip the point at 90%. Boat's going to come up with another.
With Proto going down, there's not going to be much to do to be able to touch an NY. He's going to go over to Lucio. Yeah, that is going to send us to map number 3 eventually.
Yeah, Pantera trying to get back in mech using that self-destruct, but Haven gets the kill. Haven is down, manually still up here. Yeah, Peace is still around. Peace has no health, deflect used, nothing left in the tank. We're headed to Ruins.
That was disgusting coming out. I don't know if you saw that, but basically CJ tracked where Manually was going to be on the recall, had a nade waiting for them as soon as they got back. That was disgusting work.
Ready for battle.
CJ's on is pretty nasty.
All comes down to Ruins now, Bull Skunk, for who's going to take this first map. And this is what we were hoping out of a match between two of these top 4 teams in ABC. As we see Northwood highlighting over I was going to say Zarya, but I meant to say Orisa, because Orisa's what we all play right now. So it's not surprising here. We did see a close first map in the Battle of the Orisas. Wait, so they are coming out on the Zarya?
Yes!
Yes!
I'm telling you, this meta is awesome. Like, the amount of variety we've seen has been fantastic. You're also getting Haven on a Widowmaker. There's nothing to contest Haven on this range. It is up to the Bobcats to try to play close and take over this bridge.
Yeah, again, with the Widow, it's feast or famine, but if anything we've seen from Haven, he's very feastable.
I mean, definitely voracious. Manually finds first blood this time around, though. With Lep going down, not much to protect the back line. And Kalman not able to get enough charge to have the impact. But Boat is clapped back with a pair. It's a 3v3 right now.
I feel, however, I mean, Pantera's still there, and you don't have your tank, so I feel like this is more advantageous for BSC, but Boat's still going to push the effort.
Oh, yeah, they do give over control of the point. Boat almost got Proto out of that backline and couldn't quite get it. Ends up overextending and going down for their trouble. First cap does go to the Bobcats. Here comes Peace onto that high ground just to force Haven away. Now, you know that Beam Cowman will melt through that deflect, but Pantera now choosing to push forward, and Northwood are slowly but surely running out of room to work.
That is so nerve-wracking as a Genji player having to dive the Widow like that. Just because you know how talented Haven is, you make one false move, he's going to hit your head. He's doing a great job of applying pressure without getting picked.
A lot of low health bars there for BSC. The supports are able to keep him up top for now. Proto throws in the orbital ray. Nice move out of pace with the instant execution onto both Haven and Lep. Goes in, is going to get Boat as well. Peace, you are a nightmare on the battlefield.
Using those dash resets to perfection to close the distance and get those swipes in. Can't continue to bring up, you know, just how amazing Peace has been and just making a name for himself in the NA scene.
Good. I mean, in the perfect distance on each one of those dashes as well.
Yeah.
Work of art. Work of art. Cowman now close up to a Graviton Surge as they're pushing in. There's the Jab Spin and the Terra Surge coming out here from Pantera. Peace is going to couple it with the Blade, trying to combo in, and it looks to be a beautiful combo indeed. A quick 4 kills light up the feed. There's the reset, 71% for the Bobcats.
Expensive fight for the Bobcats. Northwood did the smart thing and just held their ultimate. They did use the orbital ray, but all things considered, they're still going to have 3. I mean, the as we're going to see the drop from the Zarya, who had Graviton's Surge, going to go over to the Orisa now, so that's one ult off the board, which helps out BSC, because Boat's going to have this Blade, but manually can buy a lot of space with this incoming High Noon.
Haven swapped over off the Widowmaker as well. Bring it right into the thick of things. Get down and dirty. The rally from Lep is going to fade here as they move to the point. Just in case for Bobcats onto the objective, manually dropping the Deadeye. Everybody from Northwood kind of ducking it around the corner. Decides to toward it towards Calman. All guns pointed at Calman down here on the U, and they're going to take the Orisa down. I don't see much of anybody left here. Boat's going to come in out of nowhere. The Ninja appears with sword in hand, but there's no good targets left. Pantera pushes him away with the energy javelin. Now turns attention to Haven. Haven is cut down with a couple of torpedoes and shots out of Pantera. That's just going to be it. BSC 100-0 ruins to take the map.
In that Orisa mirror. I mean, at the same time, the Zarya, I think it was a good shout, but all things considered, if you're not basically using those bubbles to enable Boat and enable your DPS to do a lot and protect them and allow them to get picks, it's not going to work out in the long run, and they just weren't able to do that. So the Zarya, I get the idea of getting those high charges and trying to force a lot of those cooldowns early out of the Orisa, but it just wasn't enough. I think the Orisa mirror probably would have been safer. First map, it was a close map when you're in the Orisa mirror, so I think if they would have started that from the beginning, we may have been looking at a Northwood win. I mean, who knows? But we'll have to see as the series goes on what adaptations they want to make.
They rolled the dice on the Zarya. It doesn't work out. I mean, I think the Zarya works best when you can kind of peel for both front line and back. You know, when you're kind of playing a little bit tighter. Ruins, you end up so spread out. It's difficult to try to both enable your front line to attack and keep your back line protected, especially when Peace is popping off like that. So, I mean, I saw the vision there from Cal, man. It made me happy to see some Zarya on the battlefield. But yeah, it was not enough. BSC are gonna start this one off strong.
Especially when you're playing Widow, if you're not finding those constant picks on it, it's really hard to justify continuing to play it. And I'm sure Haven was like, man, look what I just did on Ashe on the previous map. Like, let me pull out Widow on the ruins here, guys. I'm feeling myself. And they just weren't able to. I mean, to Peace's credit, they were doing a great job of making sure. I think I only saw one clear pick that Haven was able to get in that map. Peace was making sure, like, you're not getting clear sightlines here, buddy.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure on that Widowmaker. Haven never really got to set up. Bobcats win that first fight, as I was talking about. They're able to control the bridge, control the close range, and then control the map. They push up and they kind of put a stranglehold in on Northwood, not allowing anybody to really stage how that they wanted. You know, we see Haven trying to play off the very back of that rooftop before finally making the swap off and pulling out the Cassidy.
And as the series goes on, this is where things start to get interesting. More of the strategies of these teams, as we kind of talked about. I mean, for the next one, Northwood will get to pick whether they want to go to hybrid or escort. That can determine, they looked pretty good in the dive. Maybe you take us to escort where there's a lot more dive-centric maps. And then after that, I mean, BSC will get their chance to ban, but this is where a lot of strategy is going to be coming into play. And this is what I love about the system that NECC has, is just that strategy, because besides just banning one, picking one, but the fact that they get to pick between the map types as well.
Interesting. Okay. So we're starting to kind of get an idea of how this little ban phase is shaping up. And it actually is interesting, because we are going to, in fact, go to escort as chosen by Northwood, just kind of as you predicted. And in an effort to deny getting to play as much high ground as they like, we get the Watchpoint Gibraltar ban out of BSC.
I think that's very smart. I mean, that's the one map where it's like, it doesn't matter what kind of meta we're in. Watchpoint Gibraltar, you play either D.Va or you play Winston. You're definitely going to be playing some sort of dive on that map. But we do, from what I saw, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see what that map pick is. But given Cowman's history, I did see Circuit highlighted there for a second. And if it is, it wouldn't surprise me given Cowman's fantastic Sigma play, if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, and that's Cowman was traditionally an off-tank player back in Overwatch 1. You think some of those specialties do carry over. It's why we see Cowman kind of lean into the D.Va when we got into the D.Va Winston matchup. And it could make for a very poke-heavy composition. As we take a look at our map pool, it is, in fact, going to be Circuit Royale here, chosen by Northwood here for map number 2.
Yeah, I think that when we talk about Cowman and the ability to play Sigma, like that's one of the heroes I remember back when he was playing off tank only when we had 2 tanks.
It was double shield. Like that's
exactly
what your off tank play.
Yeah. But this map also lends itself very well to Haven being able to play snipers.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
what Haven likes to be able to do. So I think it's a very well picked map. And you don't get, I mean, most of the time, because Circuit can be kind of hard stuck Sigma, we don't get to see it as much. So I'm always I'm up for a map like this where we're going to see great Sigmas and just great hit scan players going at it.
I mean, that's what we've traditionally seen on Circuit. We have kind of bucked the trends a little bit in recent memory. I mean, what I've dubbed the Goblin Comp was so popular enough that we were just seeing all Orisa, even on maps like Circuit Royale. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Hey, I've seen Reinhardt comps on Circuit Royale. Yeah, they're trying to hold door. Yeah, it's like, it seems like anything is possible on this map. But hey, you know what? Looks like we are going to get a little bit of the old tried and true as we get Northwood headed out on the defense to kick things off.
I was gonna say, even thinking back to DreamHack Dallas, we saw Theras on this map. So this, as you mentioned, it hasn't always been like you're going to play Sigma on this map. But as you can see, it looks like we are going. The one interesting thing that I'm seeing is the boats on the May. So I feel like we're going to be playing in units basically. Like I feel like we're going to see Haven and CJ and Lep kind of playing this high ground, keeping their distance, while Boat is there to just brawl on the face ground with Cowman and kind of help him out.
Well, Pantera is showing us a Ramattra right out of the gate with the brawl comp, mainly going to swap over the cast. Yeah, they're going straight ground and pound. It just gets destroyed right out of the gate, though. The CJ lands, so that had to be a 5-orb volley.
Oh, yeah. There's no way. Oh, that is a sneaky little shot over there from Haven. But, the thing is, I do like the idea of Boat being on the May, which is going to help them a little bit better with going against this Ramattra, because you can use walls defensively to block them off like that.
And just kind of slow down the pace of play, try to slow down Pantera as they're pushing forward. Though it looks like the Bobcats weren't too dissuade here on this one.
You did get them to back up very fast and basically get control of this cart pretty easily. That's going to be the job of BSCs, to continually close the distance. You can't let this boat comp to have distance.
Well, Haven already forced to back up once, so stage 1 down here for BSC. Now objective is to take this corner. You can see Pantera pushing through the clothing store, making a very aggressive move. Forced to put the block up, though. There's a lot of incoming damage. There. Ooh, CJ is sneaky on the outside. The call is there. CJ might get caught. Here comes Boat out with the Blizzards. An aggressive move out of Northwood to make sure they can protect everybody on that flank. Boat's able to find Pantera before it's all done, and NY gets caught behind enemy lines.
Yeah, they got a little split there. Pantera was trying to get aggressive and go after Cowman, but I think Peace kind of got caught on his own and was able to get picked off early in that fight. If you're going to play a Ramattra composition like this, you got to make sure everyone's kind of coalescing. It's kind of very similar to Reinhardt compositions, where you want everyone to kind of be in a death bally situation, and you need to get on top of CJs of the world, Havens of the world. You can't let them have space and continuously pepper you with all this damage.
And part of CJ's risky position is not only do you need to keep everybody off of you, you got to kind of keep everybody in front of you. You can't get surrounded either. Ooh, look at that push on the Boat. The bupe off the side. That was amazing. The rundown was exquisite. And that is how you do it. Bobcats kept everybody in front of them and just bulldozed right on over.
That was like blink and CJ was down. That was just clinical coming out from BSC. And they just took advantage of that, and they're going to get a late stagger onto the left, which means they're going to get a lot of cart distance before you even get... Who Haven's now swapped over to the Sojourn. We were kind of talking about this beforehand, given how good Sojourn is right now. Haven's a very talented Sojourn player.
Cowman's going to fight Pro to kind of slow Bobcats down here a little bit. Wall up doesn't quite block Pantera, but forces Ninwai is desperately just trying to run. Show gets cut through. Haven mowed down as the Annihilation comes out here from Pantera. That will proc the Transcendence out of CJ. And it looks like Bobcat's kind of petering out on this attack. Literally just going to go ahead and invest this Nemesis to push up. I mean, plenty of ults to work with. PC Manley still kind of low here. Nothing invested just yet. There's the wall. We get the Blizzard. Yep, you betcha. Boat not able to make it out of that crowd freeze. Will get cut down, but CJ's able to find Peace as well. So no more Maze left on the battlefield. And Haven picks up a pair, showing us the power of that Sojourn, and CJ there to back him up.
Incredible. Just when you thought BSC was going to have the advantage, Haven just runs the lobby once again. We do see Peace on the Hanzo right now. I don't know if this is just like a try and find an opening pick kind of ploy. Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what it is, and they're gonna.
Hanzo can one shot again, so.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, the Pharah, very interesting. I mean, you know, given the fact it's going to be a tough job for Haven to be able to 1v1 a Pharah, but I mean, it's interesting.
Oh, there's the shield bash into the overclock, and Haven not able to find the value out of that ultimate. Trying to get a bit of a Sky Noon, and Boat steps up where Haven falls. Now suddenly you get the Maze Sniper coming out, and Cowman aggressively pushing up to give Ninwai a little jab in the face.
Again, this is Northwood at their best. Cowman on the Sigma, Haven having their distance to do things, CJ being able to keep his distance and do things, and then Boat is just absolutely being a menace in the front line. So this is what we kind of expected out of this matchup. Close. I think this could come down to map picks, but they're looking very good and comfortable with the Sigma here.
Peace not able to get a whole lot done just yet. Peppered in from a distance. One good conk blast could send somebody out of position. But an orbital ray here and an aggressive push coming out from Northwood. As Let finds too. Boat with another killer headshot. Boat has found the range on those icicles there, Ray.
It's insane. Me and Tiny started this saying where we want to create a t-shirt where we say May is a sniper for us.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. I agree wholeheartedly. Haven with a nice shot to take Peace down. I love the emergence of Zenyatta we're starting to see as well.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, Zenyatta definitely hasn't been in the best spot, but they've been kind of micro-buffing him every now and then.
That recent buff was huge.
Oh, but that's not great. CJ out of the picture.
Yeah, a little bit of an overextension here from Northwood, and Peace is going to take them down. Has Barrage ready to go as they're trying to pursue. Cowman's Rock looks like they bounced off their own ice block there, but that's all right. Orbital Ray from BSC, and Northwood just beating feet out of here. They've already dropped Haven, trying to see if they can regroup without losing any more.
The good thing was the only thing that cost them was Blizzard, as now that's Annihilation.
Yeah, and that is going to put Northwood into a box. All of them going back to watch the respawn timer. But still plenty of time to come back and recontest. Look, I mean, the carts barely made it up the hill.
They're definitely going to get another chance at this, and they'll have both their Orbital Ray, their Transcendence, and their Flux, and even Haven will be able to get his ult. So I think the Bobcats should get aggressive here, but a great rock and pieces down.
May is a sniper. Now the Transcendence to survive through the Orbital Ray coming out from BSC. Excuse me, that was from Northwood. And the defense are able to muscle through that Transcendence. Even using a Gravitic Flux here to close it out in the winding seconds of this attack. CJ finds a three-piece on the Zenyatta to put a stop to BSC.
Legitimately, I didn't even see the time. I was about to be like, ugh, I don't know about that sig ult there, but it makes sense given the time.
Legitimately, I saw the sig ult, immediately looked at the time, like, why are we ulting? Oh, there's only 5 seconds left.
I'm glad we had the same track of mind.
World's darkest collegiate match. Oh my goodness, Slip. You're clearly not here in the casting booth, because we are very bright here.
I mean, this puts Northwood in a really good spot. I mean, yes, is this a common place to really get stopped on a map like Circuit Royale? It definitely is, but they looked absolutely dominant after. I mean, once point 2 came in, the BSC had their one shining moment where they got super aggressive, got CJ off that high ground and swept the first point, but after that, man, Haven really showed up on the Sojourn after swapping over, and then CJ constantly on the Zenyatta being able to have those Discord orbs on to basically not allow Pantera to be as aggressive as they wanted to be. That Discord orb just kept getting him low every time he wanted to make any kind of aggressive push.
I mean, it's an automatic 20% essentially off of your health pool. So that's, yeah, those scores are massive. Not to mention the Zenyatta buff going from 48 damage back to 50 damage per orb. That hits all kinds of breakpoints. That means you can 5-orb body shot a 250 target.
As BSC defensively looking to go over to the Sigma, which, I mean, it's always... When I've always think of Sigma, it's definitely always a better defensive composition than it is offensive. So it makes sense that they're going to play this defensively, but they are going to have Haven, manually automatically just come out on the Sojourn.
And immediately finding value. Haven up to the high ground. He's trying to chase them down. Oh, the dodge on the rock, the deflect to get out. And Peace forced to evacuate there. Nice move. Pantera lands the accretion to Rock Cowman's world, and the defense holds.
so far so good for BSC is this is kind of the opening gambit you need. You want to waste as much time as possible on this first point. And I mean, Circuit Royale, you definitely also a map known for first point holds as well. So if BSC plays their cards right, they could still walk away here with a victory.
Oh, beautiful wall, though. And that wall just set up Northwood brilliantly. Railgun from Haven goes through everybody there, right? Even your standard rails pierce now. Everybody's just kind of in a single file line for BSE. Everybody ends up at below half health. Easy pickings here. Northwood continue to give chase.
As that was a great job for BSC to be able to get away. Because if they lose anybody there, it's likely they're giving up the first point. So now they get a chance to re-engage before this point gets delivered as a full 5-stack.
Both will have Orbital Ray coming into this. Peace coming up on a blade. Peace's blades have been a thing of beauty. The stall out here on the point. Aggressive push from Pantera. Orbital Ray out here from the attacking Northwood first, but manually once again will find first blood on the boat, Edzo people. And here comes the follow-up. The dominoes start to fall, and BSC will win this retake.
Yeah, they don't even need the blade as that Orbital Ray from Lep and Proto. They cancel each other out, and Northwood's able to take full advantage, which... BSC's able to take full advantage. And it was a 1-for-1 exchange, so both teams are still going to be able to come back with basically every other ultimate online. You talked about how Peace's blades have been a thing of beauty. At this point, I would, if I was Boat, look to maybe even use this defensively for the Blizzard to deal with the blade.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea, and you can save your Transcendence for that Gravitic Flux. Well, never mind, you're not going to see a Gravitic Flux. Literally, he's already down. Here's the Flux out of Cowman. I think that may have gotten more than just manually. Either way, Transcendence has been forced from an NY here in a 3v5 situation. The Overclock fading from manually, not able to get anything with it. Peace is in trouble, getting backed up, and the Torpedoes seal the deal.
As they're going to look to back out and get out of here if you're manually and look to reset. 4 minutes on the clock. I mean, again, we saw how much time Northwood is able to drain on the second point. So BSC has an opportunity to be able to do that of their own, and B still has the blade to be able to pull, but CJ does have a trans to work with.
Yeah, but do you use the Transcendence for the Gravitic Flux or for the Dragon Blade out of Peace? That is the Sophie's choice that certainly sits in front of CJ at the moment. Peace coming in over the top. Aggressive move. Overclock out from Haven, and manually's already down. There's the Flux. Oh! Haven just dodges around it. The Transcendence used literally doesn't even get it all. Pantera can't even finish the Flux. This seems like the Transcendence almost celebratory at this point, as this card is just slow rolling into a 1-1 scoreline.
As, yeah, with that pick onto Pantera on the Doomfist, that is going to...
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Get off my point!
He gets 2? Okay.
they just wanted Peace. Peace is like, y'all got scared.
Dude, even Pantera is like, LOL.
Oh, yeah. No, that was funny.
Oh, man.
Oh, we get the CJ 3-piece here.
Yeah, 1-1 series for both of these teams.
Oh.
I think what this map highlighted to me was I think map picks are going to be extremely important in this series. The one thing you can say, this is one of the situations where that Sigma was going to be best. There's not a whole lot of maps where you can say, yeah, Sigma Poke, that's going to be really good on that map. So you got that out of the way if you are BSC. And even if this ends up going the distance, because we'll go to push next, and then it's, Flashpoint or Clash. Those aren't really poke maps. And then the final map would be
Hybrid.
So there's not really a lot of whole poke with hybrid either. So I think this bodes well for BSC going forward, as they will not likely have to see this composition again.
Well, they'll get our choice of pick. As we said, when we come back, it'll be push. We'll see you back here after a break.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh!
Well, we are all knotted up after a control that went the distance and went in BSC's favor. We saw Northwood come back in a great pick of Circuit Royale there for map number 2 to tie up the series.
It worked out very well. They did very well on those Sigma compositions, and it's the strength that we see from Northwood, especially when counters the game. Not that he can't play other tanks, but Sigma's definitely a good specialty of his. Sure. As we got map number 3 all ready for you guys, at least the pick, as we'll be loading in there shortly. But map number 3, push, it was chosen that we're going to Esperanza.
It's good to see this one back in the map pool. Esperanza kind of got avoided there for a bit. We saw a lot of Runasapi there, it felt like, for 6 weeks. Now Esperanza's kind of made its way back into rotation. I don't really enjoy this map. These two, the high grounds here, become so important. I think this could be another place where we get the battle between Manually and Haven.
Yeah, this map and Runasapi are the two best push maps we have, but I think it's because they had more time to create them. But yeah, I'm very excited to see this back in the play. As you mentioned, lots of Runasapi, but good old Esperanza Overwatch is always fun. I think it's question is going to be what kind of compositions do we get to see. I've seen, Orisa being forced on these maps. That tends to be the best pick I've seen in recent times, but I've seen teams try and force Winston type compositions. So I wonder what these teams are going to elect to do.
Yeah, the Junker Queen's very popular here. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Is we've seen a lot of JQ in recent memory on this map, where the speed becomes very vital. You can combine Shout with the speed ring. I've even seen the Juicio played a lot here in this composition, where you can even layer the amp speed on top of it, which is what we're seeing Let pull out. Yep, there's an NY making the swap too. This is ultra fast. This is Mach 6 comp. Everybody's got speed boost.
It's interesting because I remember I used to really hate the Juno Lucy, but I think in a situation where you're going to go Junker Queen, the ability to be able to speed and position yourself is of the utmost importance in these compositions.
Oh, I've become a big fan of the Juicio. I'm not going to lie. You get double layer speed boost, so you have to run it. So you get the speed ring in, which we're seeing Northwood do here. Manually catches the aggression beautifully. I love this positioning from Peace as well. So Bobcat's kind of split into a 2-3 formation and forced Northwood into a bad crossfire. Now with a +1, they're trying to pursue these picks. Northwood rotates around, though, and CJ finds Proto on the way out. Ends up being a very sloppy fight with people scattered in all directions, and then NY running for cover.
Yeah, in the meantime, they've just been getting all this distance, but Peace is down, and they're going to be able to flip this fight relatively quickly.
Yeah, these first fights, it's like you'll give up a little bit of meterage to circle around and take the advantage in the engagement. That's exactly what Northwood did.
I'll admit, this is my first time seeing these Juicio Junker Queen composition on this map specifically, and just how fast moving and okay, one team's here, now they're suddenly over here, and it's very, very interesting.
I wasn't calling it the Mach 6 comp for nothing. Rotation here up to the high ground. Northwood do not have any ults to fend this off with just yet. Cowman has gotten halfway towards that rampage, and Pantera still struggling to get past the 20% mark. Peace poking from the outside. It looks like the rest of the Bobcats have dropped down low. Rotation from Northwood, and we're just going to get a battle in main. Peace moving up to challenge Haven. Doesn't want to give Haven any free space up top. Gets the dash through, but Lep gets the pick. Pair of kills here for Lep on the Lucio, and a 5v3 here for Northwood. Oh!
Yeah. Haven, once again, having his pop-off moments it's going to be the best advice for BSC to look to just reset here. They might have one more opportunity to stop this bot before the first point is grabbed. We know how important the first point takes can be when it comes to these push maps. Haven looking to get aggressive, and they're going to have the high noon.
Yeah, they're just going to go ahead and drop the Deadeye in immediately. Lep and Boat had moved into that side rooms where they kill on the Proto. An extremely aggressive Sound Barrier. Lep is bloodthirsty right now. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, they're using these ults aggressively, but it buys them the first point and the forward spawns from here on out. Did it cost them their orbital array and their Sound Barrier and their high noon? Sure it did, but you'll take that every day to Sunday if you have forward spawns now.
Lep is still just hanging out. Lep, you're not a spy in TF2, okay?
Oh, man, this is...
And then immediately lands with the speed boost. Just, perfect timing. Drops right on Cowman with the speed boost, and they're out.
I mean, the team's going to be there because the forward spawn's ready to take the next fight. The only thing you can say is BSC hasn't used a single ultimate, so they're going to have a full war chest to re-engage.
Come in with the Rampage, looking to set it up. You can see lining it up. There it is. Goes through two. Ninwai with the Sound Bearer. It is good. Hits everybody it needs to. And we're going to get Pantera able to strike back. Both casters out of this fight as the Orbital Ray invested here for BSC, and they're going to play in that and able to leverage that into another player advantage. Still, Northwood have 3 strong here, and they're not going to go down without a fight. Both playing on the fringes. He's going to go ahead and pull out the Katana. Trying to fight. Misses all the slashes. Where did everybody go? Both just got their ankles broken.
Yeah, not only did they get their ankles broken, but got blown up immediately, got nothing out of that, which, I mean, given you didn't even get BSC to pull out any ult in response, they just handled you thoroughly. Now they can look to use their blade with this Rampage of their own to full aggression, and now they're going to get forward spawns, and they're looking to take the lead.
Yeah, that is the checkpoint right there. Northwood in a position to prevent the lead, though. There's the Rampage. Finds 2 in the back. Haven already cut down. Cowman in a lot of trouble. And then the combo with the blade is spectacular. It's the old axe and sword slash combo. Yeah, something like that. The old axe and slash.
Yeah, see, I wasn't sure if there was a name for that one, but I like that you came up with that on the fly. Axe and slash. That's a good one. As get the late stagger on a boat. So now, if you're Northwood, you can't even re-engage quickly enough. BSC's already taken the lead, and they're just going to get more distance while boat's still coming back.
I mean, I guess you could also go like Purple Dragon or something of that nature. We'll workshop it, friends. We'll workshop it. Deadeye out here from Haven to start things off. Look at the speed on this thing. And Pantera can't get away. That is insane. Oh, man. Mach 6 in full effect. Lep with another pair of kills. How many kills has Lep had this map? Oh, my goodness.
That was it looked like he was in high noon, but looked like he was still walking normal speed, basically. Still positioned himself to get to Pantera. That was absolutely ridiculous.
You ever seen like speed walking competitions? Like there's actually speed walking races. That's what that reminded me of.
Like the fast walking where you can't let your feet get off the ground at the same time.
Oh no, Pantera's already down. Is a fight an unusual spot here around the Mega. Really aggressive play out at Northwood to take that one.
You did get them to use the orbital array there, so BSC will be able to re-engage with that, and they should be able to get a touch before the lead is taken. And so for Northwood, you're relying pretty heavily on boat to get something good here, because Lep can sustain you with a sound barrier, but that's about it with that.
Okay, that's an early orbital coming out. Oh, it's down low, too. There's no chance to disengage. They have to fight into this, or here comes the blade out. 1-for-1 trade, but Proto's off the battlefield. The sound barrier is going to fade, and Northwood will have a sustained advantage through this. Manually low, Cowman with the headshot. Turns their attention to Peace now. Peace at half health, scampers away. Looks like Bobcats are just looking for any kind of safety. The knife, the blade, the Rampage into Pantera. Actually hits Ninwai with that as well. Is there enough teeth here to find the kill on it, though? Eventually, they will muscle down Pantera, and it looks like Northwood are in control.
Yeah, as Lep just trying to hide and stay alive with very little health left, and they get the touch before the lead's taken.
Very important contest in the final moment. Ooh, but there's the 1 meter. Northwood are now back on top, triple-digit meterage.
Still plenty of time to work with as Pantera can come back and they're going to have a Rampage. Wait, we got the axe and slash combo once again.
I'm liking that. I like that. Gets pulled down low. And Pantera's going to go ahead and throw in the axe. We get the slash. Peace goes down. No Dragon Blade on the back of this one. Pantera is low. Why do I keep trying to call him Rocket? Pantera is low here on this point. I'm trying to make Rocket a tank player, Ray. Apparently that's what's happening. Bobcats look like they're going to win this one out. They got a couple of good kills, but they have lost the lead.
I mean, it's the fact that you're able to get Haven with that combo and a great exiting pick onto CJ. So that's going to thwart a lot of expectations this next fight. Northwood's not going to be grouped up completely to take on this next fight. So that's going to allow BSC to at least get better positioning for this next fight.
Up to the high ground, 2 minutes and 30 seconds here left in the map. Peace with the only ult manually was about 5 health. They're able to escape away. We see a shout, which just be unleashed from Pantera. They're going to go ahead and drop down below. Here comes Northwood in pursuit. The orbital will escort him to 3 kills and a beautiful knife into Ninwai.
I have always been of the mindset that getting a knife kill like that is the most satisfying thing there is in Overwatch.
Hard to argue.
It's like, oh, it feels so good. BSC, however, I think they just did the smart thing. They used Orbital Ray. They kept their ults, and now they're going to have 4 to re-engage for this next fight.
Quick engage right at the high ground. The Orbital Ray thrown in immediately. Sound Barrier and Rampage out from Northwood. Manually drops the Deadeye. Kind of forces everybody away. Northwood do a good job of disengaging. Manually not ever but find anybody with the speed walking Deadeye. It's Haven who comes up with the goods. Finds the head of Proto. Now Cowman down in the thick of things with the shout. Boat dashes through too. Pantera finds themselves surrounded. Northwood find themselves in control.
Big team fight win coming out from Northwood because they used both their Rampage and their Sound Barrier there, so they needed to take full advantage. And not only that, but they got Proto to use the Orbital Ray there, so that was a very key team fight win to not only take advantage of the ults they use, but drain a key ult from BSC for re-engage.
Go to Sound Barrier advantage. Blade out from Boat, and that's going to be a 5-player Sound Barrier out of NY to keep everybody alive. NY trying to see if they can keep Boat at bay. Managed to do so with a little help from Manually on that cast.
I think the big thing for BSC going forward is limiting ult usage. I mean, they lose piece of it. They're going to win the fight with only having to commit that Sound Barrier to deal with the Blade. So that's very good. So you're able to still have that axe and slash combo going forward. And by the time you hopefully win the next fight with those ults, Manually should be able to get the high noon. I mean, 30 seconds left, so they're going to have to win probably 2 fights in a row here to be able to get this. So that's very obtainable.
I mean, that's part of the Mach 6 comp. I mean, teams can just get back in so fast. You get so many fights. Look at this. Northwood's back into this thing, and BSC has barely even crossed the center mark. Rampage out with Rocket low. I did it again. With Pantera low, and the Blade is thrown in. The hack and slash combo was good. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but you've lost Proto. So sustain at a premium here for BSC as they're hunting down exit picks, but that kill on the Cowman will seal the deal.
Yeah, so it's going to take one more fight. However, Northwood's going to have that all-important Orbital Ray. Manually has to hope. Not only can they get something, even if they don't get something, buy enough time and space to hopefully allow Proto to maybe build up to this fast enough.
Ooh, it's going to be close. But Northwood have the only one here. But the key is that overtime, you're force everybody off. Proto's 80% towards their own beam. The Orbital Ray invested early here out of CJ. Cowman finds Manually right out of the rip. Pushes in with the Fortified and try to muscle down Pantera as well. Proto 98%. They're going to go down. Haven finds the kill. The one thing that might have saved BSC here at map 3. And he gets stripped out from underneath them. Northwood pull out the rug and they will go up to match point.
Oh, that was so close. Literally Manually got killed during that high noon. They could have lasted a little bit longer to buy that extra second or two to allow the Orbital Ray to come online. Maybe they're able to flip that, but all things considered, another close map and close series between both of these teams. And you're in a situation, we mentioned, if Northwood comes and brings the energy and brings the goods, they're just as good as any team in this area, and they're proving it so far with BSC. We will have Clash or Flashpoint for the next one, so I think that's going to be more of a Rissa / Junker Queen once again. So I'm excited. That was so fast-paced and great to watch.
That was amazing. I think if we go Flashpoint, we can absolutely see the Mach 6 comp again. If we go Clash, I might anticipate a little bit more of the Orisa kind of sustain through the fights. The Goblin comp, as I call it.
Like, it felt like when your dog has the zoomies and they're just zooming around the house. Yeah. Like, that's what that composition felt like. Just zoom, 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 zoom. Like, it was awesome.
I like that. I like we call it the zoomies comp.
You hear that, OWCS? That's what we're calling it now.
That's it. It's the zoomies comp. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. God, that was close, though. I mean, it was so back and forth. The lead exchanged hands, multiple times throughout that one map. And it was on a knife's edge. I feel like that one could have gone either way. Like if Proto comes in with an orbital in that final fight, we could be looking at a BSC lead right now.
I don't know if you saw in that final fight, Cowman swapped over to the Orisa. He actually got dangerously low in that final fight and forced CJ to have to use that Orbital Ray early. I mean, it was still a very good Orbital Ray. It wasn't like they were forced and it wasn't great. It was still very good and they won it because of that. But man, that if they would have been able to, like as you mentioned, to do an orbital ray back at them at the same time. I think that could have been the decider. So there, unfortunately, they weren't able to get that up in time. Northwood up 2-1, and now BSC's backs are against the wall. Let's see how they handle a little bit of adversity, knowing they got to win this next map. Well, the next two, but this map for sure.
Yeah, one step at a time, right? One step at a time. I mean, but it feels like it's that close of a match where, I mean, it is just pixels separating, you know, a few percentage in the ult charge, you know, being a big difference maker. And I mean, it was the backlight on that one that got it done. I mean, you know, we've done a lot of talk about, you know, the DPS players here from these two squads tonight. I don't know that we've been doing the backline justice. I mean, those ultra fast ultimates coming out from Lep and CJ. I mean, that's not to be overlooked and not to be underestimated how much power they bring into these team fights. And I think that final fight was the perfect example.
To me, it felt like it felt like the consistency from Boat. He did a great job, but then Haven comes through with big pop-off moments where it's like things aren't going great, but Haven finds 2 picks randomly in the middle of a big fight. So I think it's almost like a yin and yang thing where it's like Haven's not always hitting the shots he needs to, but he comes through in the big moments, and Boat's that consistent, like, I'm going to just be there. I'm not always going to have the pop-off moments, but I'm going to get you that one kill every fight that you need. And it's just, they complement each other very well.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, when Bobcats are doing well, they're keeping Haven quiet. A lot, you know, Peas is able to get in Haven's face and keep Haven quiet. When Northwood's doing well, they're keeping Peas quiet. We didn't see Peas come. You know, we saw, you know, I think we had, 2 good action slash combos through there. Like, we saw 2 good plays throughout that 10 minutes, but it wasn't near to the level of taking over when we saw BSC winning map 1.
And that's going to be the key for BSC going forward, is enabling not only Peace, but also manually to be able to do their jobs and get those picks time and time. Because even on that first map, yes, Peace had great pop-up moments, but manually, again, was that great counterpart on that Cassidy, being able to buy space with those high noons and get key flashbang plays to limit what Boat was able to do.
The speed walking high noons, you know, at least the...
Am I looking at our screen correctly? Like, I'm feeling a little shocked here if that's where we're going.
I mean, I liked the note in chat of, like, don't overthink it. It's like, it's Clash, don't overthink it. So, yeah, I mean, spoilers, that's Northwood have chosen Clash. BSC banned what out? Or do they even get a ban? No, excuse me.
No, it's just they pick, because there's only 2. You just get to pick one if you're BSC.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised, like, again, I haven't been as active, I'll be honest, recently with like a WCS, but I've always thought teams have been like still like avoiding Clash like the plague. I don't know if that's been changing recently though.
Apparently not here. So, you know, it was Clash chosen by BSC, Northwood choosing Throne of Anubis here for map number 4. So we get to see, well, you know, some of our newer maps and our newer game type here at tonight's Collegiate Action.
I mean, you mentioned you thought if we went to Clash, it was more likely we'd see Orisa than Junker Queen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that plays into the hand of BSC a little bit more. I mean, the one map where we saw Orisa via Orisa on Ilios, I mean, they were able to take the victory. I mean, even on Ruins, it was pretty decisive. But the momentum that Northwood is now on, it's going to be tough to be able to stop that if you're BSC. So, I mean, this is their last opportunity to keep this series alive and force a map number 5.
And trying to bring out something weird. Maybe that's why we're seeing Clash. You know, sometimes if you're feeling a little outmatched, sometimes you can just go to a map where you're like, hey, maybe we're both equally as, not unprepared, but minimally prepared for the new game type. To take away some of the kind of the preset strategies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, when you're in a series like this where it's been tightly contested back and forth, sometimes you just throw a wrench into the other team. You know, maybe they weren't expecting, like, crap, we're going to Clash now. Like, as we see, oh, please, I would love to see the Reinhardt. Please give it to me.
Reinhardt versus JQ. I'm on board. Hey, Pantera turned off there. I said, stop it. Call me by the right name. That's what you get. It's what you get for using streamer mode in an official. All right? I'm just saying.
I totally forget that even exists. Like, I just always assume it's alt counts that they're playing on. But JQ versus JQ, no surprise there. Unfortunately, no Reinhardt for me. But bonus on the Junkrat, folks.
Hey, we got a little Jay Silly in here. Open it up with some Clash. I mean, we got a whole lot of Clash here this season. Peace drops the yo in chat like, whoa, I'm seeing spam. What are these orange things flying at me?
I'm not privy to this Mr. Junkrat man.
Look around the outside as Haven tries to find the angle, and this has turned into a very hard play. It was initially a soft like that. Haven just kept going, kept rotating, left joining him on that angle, and they'll combine for a kill on an NY. Pair of kills going in Northwood's favor, as a matter of fact, and Haven continues to clean up.
Lep's continued aggressiveness on this Lucy. I mean, he gets punished there, but it really made things work on that first point, and they're able to get it because of that. And it feels like that's actually been a key component here, is Lep's continued aggressiveness on the Lucio.
And it's one of the benefits of having the Lucio. You can kind of send the Lucio in, on those flanks, kind of create the, 2-3 split scenario, where the Juno's just not as able to do that when you're in the Juno brig. I like the look for Peace.
You get Lep in return.
I love how Peace just looks over the edge like, Ninwai, you alright down there?
You okay there, bud?
You okay?
Oh, the peek into Hayden, that's pretty much going to wrap this up, though.
Yeah, no, BSC have definitely struck back here as Peace just kind of danced over the point. Despite Ninwai going down early, you did kind of mention they were able to trade out for Lep. And Peace and manually take over, so we're tied up here on Anubis.
Northwood does have a window of opportunity here where they can look to aggressively use this orbital ray when Proto has not built up to theirs yet, but they're getting up there fast.
So a bunch of ultimates coming online for both of our squads here, so they're going to clash over the center point once again. It's going to be the orbital race thrown in initially. Haven will get interrupted out of that Deadeyes. The torpedoes from Proto will put him down. +2 to BSC as Pantera will actually vote. And there you go. BSC are going to win back-to-back fights here.
And it only cost them their orbital ray, and Northwood had to use their orbital ray and the high noon. So very favorable ult exchanges, and you win 2 fights in a row. So this is kind of the momentum that BSC needed, and they need to continue to play aggressively like they have been and use this one ult advantage they're going to have.
Northwood has to go fast, and so far it looks like BSC are the ones setting the tempo. Northwood are just backing away, trying to get through the choke, and Haven won't make it all the way back, so Calvin's going to pull the trigger, and that's a monstrous rampage. It hit 4, but the sound barrier is good. NY fully prepared in this scenario, and Bobcats are going to get cut down, manually dropping the Deadeye in to finish off Cowman.
Lep uses that sound barrier, but it's a little too late to be able to save Cowman, as BSC is looking to now take this second point, but they have the ability to re-engage. Peace does have a blade. I mean, they have Axe and Slash once again.
And they're going to head on into point A now. So BSC knocking on the door of Northwood spawn with that big Wombo combo. They've won multiple team fights using this combo. And one here, I mean, they only need 66% at this point, Ray.
Yeah, and we talked about how deadly this Axe and Slash combo can be once it's used to its fullest, and Northwood doesn't really have a lot of counterplay to it, besides Boat having a big blade himself.
Yeah, just get aggressive in your own right. There's the Rampage. Peace doesn't want to pull out the blade just yet. Just kills Boat in the neutral. Just don't let Boat use their blade either. And now Peace holds on to this ultimate to secure the second tick. Oh no, this is looking like a map 5.
Yeah, it definitely is. Do they even look to touch it? Do they get the touch in time? They do not!
Ooh, cut down before Let makes it in.
Oh, able to just speed run on Clash and force up map number 5. Literally, Jeff, we were talking during the first break, and I was like, I'm feeling a map 5 here. Like, these teams are going at it right now.
We took the Unks to the new map type. That was exactly what I was talking about. They just took them somewhere weird. Like, and not everybody's scrimming on this game type right now. Oh, we bet a hybrid you pick. Yep, there you go. One final map to determine this series, right?
And I am all for it. Which the good thing that if you're Northwood is you're going to hybrid. Yep. So BSC will get to ban one, and then the last map pick will go to Northwood. The question is, if you're BSC, I mean, we're going to find out after the break here shortly, but what do you look to do? I mean, you obviously do not want a situation where you're going to have to do Sigma v Sigma. You definitely don't want that. That didn't go good, but I don't really think there's a hybrid map where like Sigma is a must pick. So, I mean, it's really going to come down to personal preference at this point.
We'll
Maybe
see.
maybe you ban Blizzard so you don't have. I mean, Numbani Blizzard so you try and avoid the dive because they didn't do as great in that mirror.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It's one last map to determine it. Northwood will get the pick. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, your final map of this series. Don't go away.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Stay, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
Well, our final week of regular season, and we wouldn't have it start off any other way. We are all knotted up 2-2 here with Northwood versus BSE as we head into our 5th and final decider map for this series.
We all knew it was coming down to Escort. Didn't really get to see which map was banned, but we do know what map was picked, and we are going to Blizzard World for our final map.
Indeed. So we kind of theorized about this one, and this was Northwood's map pick headed into map 5. So with Escort chosen earlier, the game type was already decided, and we end up at Blizzard World. This is it'll be interesting. This one, I think we could see dive, we could see ground and pound.
Yeah, my headcanon tells me that we don't know for sure, but my guess would be you ban Numbani, the one map where you have to play dive.
It was Hollywood,
you pick the map where dive's an option still in Blizzard World. So that's at least my thought on what probably happened. So you're in a situation where Blizzard World, yes, as you mentioned, dive is very valuable, but I think if you're BSC, you can definitely stick to your guns and do the ground and pound that's gotten you here.
Well, and have room for peace to get job done, right? Like, I think with Blizzard World, you've got a lot more room for a Genji to maneuver around. It was actually Hollywood banned out here from BSC. So they don't, which makes me think that they're thinking more on Haven and that DPS. Don't give Haven sight lines where they can take over a match. Here in Hollywood, you've got a lot of different flank angles where they can get peace in there to kind of help cover that gap and try to neutralize Haven's effectiveness.
I mean, again, defensively, the Ashe is still going to be extremely powerful if Haven does so choose to go into that situation. So this is still going to be a good map for that. And I think, that's why, ironically, I didn't even expect or even think about this. But yeah, Sigma's still a very good pick on this map. It's just not my first thought of compositions when I think of Blizzard World.
And trying to give room and time for Haven to work does make a little bit of sense. But yeah, definitely atypical. It feels like Calman kind of fallen into a favorite pick here. As Pantera drops the what comp you guys on?
I mean, I would genuinely be curious. I mean, I don't know if they're assuming Sigma, but I don't necessarily think I would assume that given this map. But I am interested to see what BSC is actually going to go with. Are they actually rolling out on Winston? Okay, I like it.
Yeah, they tried to scout, but Northwood didn't give them any sight lines. Now they know. Now they see the Sig Shield, and they know what they're up against. And yeah, we are, in fact, going to get the Winston composition. We're actually getting Proto with the Juno here mixed with the Winston. This is an unusual look. We tend to get the Ana, like an Ana brick backline. So the Juicio backline alongside the Winston was raising my eyebrows, at least.
Yeah, this is not necessarily what you would think, but I mean, Haven already finds Proto.
Yeah, Haven going back up to the top. Here comes Pantera landing into the pack, though. Has peace with them. And has equalized as they've taken Haven out of the fight. Although that is a DPS for support trade favoring Northwood in that. Ice Block already is. Peace try to see if they can start the attack back in. Pantera's laying back behind Calman. Man is going to go back up here and claim some high ground. So BSC has managed to dishevel Northwood a little bit, deny that high ground a little bit, and it leaves Calman out and open. There's a kill from Manually. In fact, a pair of kills. Both headshots. You give me a third? Come on, Manually. Give me a third one. That's a body shot. Oop, that's into the shield of lip. Then why there to back you up? That's okay. That's okay.
I mean, it's going to buy them the point. Manually did everything they needed to do. That's the good thing is the one thing you have to deal with is Peace and Pantera who are looking to dive you, but then Manually is just bringing that consistent damage and the threat of that flashbang as well. As we see Calman immediately off of the Sigma going over to the D.Va. We saw how it went on Lighthouse with the Winston versus the D.Va. It did not go well for Bobcats.
Before coming, just holding high ground. BSC with a slow, methodical push down low. Nobody trying to challenge up here just yet. Yeah, Peace would be the most apt. You got to time it right with Pantera's assault. Okay, Pantera's just going to inch this cart down to the corner. And now this real engagement should break out. I anticipate them to move to high ground. Pantera's just kind of stubbornly holding that front line. Ate way too much damage before they finally decided to make a move. Late sound barrier thrown in from Ninwai in this 4v5. But Peace falls. Now, with only 3 players strong, BSC have got to get out.
This is the big issue that BSC did face when they found themselves dealing with this diva composition was Haven was absolutely untouched and running the lobby. So they're going to have to find a way to get on top of him and not allow him to have clear sight lines.
Haven currently sitting on top of the AA gun at the moment. So up to Peace and Pantera to make a move. Pantera takes so much damage, they have to use bubble right out of the gate. Not ideal. You'd want to save that for after you make the dive. Peace is coming down low. Nice headshot on an NY, forces back. Another headshot onto Peace. Haven is absolutely on fire. The coach gun denies the dive in from Pantera. Even though they have the primal raid, they just don't end up where they want. Haven finally forced to back up away, trying to put shots down. Calman falls, trying to hold the front line.
I guess if you're not getting on top of Haven, the next best thing is to find that diva mech. So very well played. And now Proto able to get the torpedo kill onto Haven. This is the momentum BSC's been waiting for.
Yeah, Peace is going to set up shop right there, directly on the high ground above left at the moment. Pantera sitting on the middle section. We got a couple of ults ready to go here for BSC. Kind of with an immediate drop down.
So you don't have to sustain.
Yeah. Oh, orbital ray in. Can Peace do anything into it? Rolls away from both sides. Peace trying to chop through, but it's just too much healing, and it's still 85% or 85 heals per second, even with a nerf. Now Pantera's going to throw in the Primal Rage in this 3v3. Drop down. Self-destruct fights manually, but not before they get left. Pantera now joining NY in the rally to see if they can beat up the 3 players of Northwood remaining here. Boat is low, but it has the Blizzard in the pocket. Will not get a chance to use it. Pantera's able to find one. Pantera falls. NY, the lone player left as they're chased into the arcade.
As we see Peace coming back on the Tracer, trying to get this point across the finish line.
Oh, I don't think NY is getting out. The heals are in. What a great save on Broda. What a great save.
Pantera on the Zarya now trying to counter the diva.
Okay, okay. This might work. This might work. And then get bubbles on the Peace. Try to get them in, kind of see if they can kind of rotate on that front line there, right?
And it's a nice counter to deal with the antis that can come out from CJ as well. So I think overall the Zarya will definitely... I think it can work better in this situation than we saw it previously on the Ruins from Northwood.
So approach so far. You see Haven maintaining as much distance as possible from every red jersey on the battlefield. Deadeye for manually escorted there from NY. And there's that added speed on the back of it. Defense matrix from Calman just in time. But a good position here leads to a couple of headshots on to Lep. Trying to find Haven around this corner. Peace is in, and Peace will get the final blow. So both DPS now down to the hands of Peace Genji, and this should be second point on the board. Yep, that's a team kill.
And now that second point's been taken, I'm curious to see if Northwood's going to take any action now that they see BSC is, excuse me, on the Zarya. But it looks like Cameron's going to stick to the guns on the Diva, which is perplexing. I mean, Haven has the ability here to stall a lot, and they're going to have Boat go over to the Pharah, though.
Well, that's an interesting wrinkle. A lot of pressure down onto Pantera Zarya.
Yeah, but then you got manually just with the headshot.
Oh, that was filthy. Bob thrown in here from Haven over the point. And you end up just with a very charged Pantera. Blowing like a Christmas tree, they rotate the corner. All that power focused down on Calman. Self-destruct used to get back in map in the cover of the orbital ray. Will allow Calman that reback, but Pieces found Haven. Closing the gap, they found Lep as well. And the defense are in under the skin of Northwood.
As Peace did a great job of dodging and weaving and avoiding that sleep dart and allowed him to find the pick. As we see Haven now trying to decide what they want to do here. They're going to go over to the Widow, look for a pick. Lep going to go over to the Baptiste. It feels like as Kamen goes over to the Ramatra, it seems like Northwood's not exactly sure how they want to deal with the Zarya.
It's going to be the blade out for Peace. It's a nano onto Haven. We get the electric cowboy here. But 2 of the 5 ults, now third thrown in. Graviton Surge, oh, it's monstrous. It's massive. It's just what the doctor ordered. BSC cap, 124 left at the bank.
And we talk about how big it is to get over a minute on the clock, so no matter what, if they get, as long as they can bring this to overtime for the side of Northwood, then, I mean, you're in a situation where we're drawing or you're going to win. So that's actually a key marker for them to have gotten over the hump, but all things considered, Blizzard World can be a very tough map to actually get across the finish line. So I think that alone puts you in a very strong position if you're BSC.
One of the most difficult hybrid maps in the game to cap, like to full cap.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. I don't know if it's quite as hard as Shambali, but
Ready for battle.
I'd say definitely harder than Kings and Midtown.
Yeah, I'm like the ones I think of when I think hard escort maps to finish is like this one, Numbani, and Shambali.
Yeah, I mean,
Or Shambali's an escort, technically.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So there you go. That one, yeah, that one even taken out of the pool. Yeah, Numbani. I'd say Hollywood's probably on par with Numbani as far as difficult to finish.
As Northwood backs against the wall, they have to at least finish this map to keep their hopes alive of being able to win this series. We see defensively from the Bobcats, they're going to go over to the Diva as Northwood is highlighting over the Junker Queen composition, and that is what they're going to roll out on as Haven took a shot on the Widow, wasn't able to find the kill.
Lucky they didn't kill themselves. I think that hit the deflect.
Yeah.
All right, rotation to high ground. It looks like Northwood just heading up to Griffin here. Try to get Haven staged up. Haven on a Cassidy this time around. We'll keep them kind of playing a lot more in a bit of a death ball. But with the dash in, there's going to be a full rotation all the way back around. Pieces on top of this, though. BSC have made this read. How do they respond? Are they going to try to sandwich? Calman moves up to the high ground. I think Northwood might have outpaced this rotation as they're going to drop in on this point. Peace has, kind of regrouped with the team and manages to get that kill on the boat. So rest of Northwood now stuck up on this high ground, and BSC make a move to evict them.
I was going to say, that's the key thing that BSC did a great job of, is if you're Cowman on this Junker Queen, you need to get up in faces, get those axe slashes in, get those big Gracie knives in, and every time it looked like they were going for a big axe, they just were able to get away and they got absolutely nothing out of it. So BSC is doing a great job of keeping their distance away as Cowman is now like, you know what? I like to play Diva anyway. I'm going to match them at it.
Puts us right back into this mirror. Both going up in a bit of a fight for Griffin alongside with Calman. We forced Bobcats back a little bit, but it cost him a couple cooldowns, including that deflect. Both rotating around on the left side. That's a speed ring in. I think Bobcats are going to get aggressive on that. Calman just like flies all the way through the point, back it around. It's a bit of a do-see-does. We're going to dance around the stables here. Nobody able to pick up a kill, but here comes Ultimates online. Lep investing the first rally. Ninwai still holding on to theirs. Orbital Ray now invested here from Northwood. Proto will reply to that one as both beams from space. Peace with the blade. Once again, as I've said it time and time again in this series, tilts the balance here for BSC. Oh my goodness. Peace is just so fun to watch on this Genji. Oh no! I cursed you, buddy.
He tried so hard, looked like he might have been able to get the top.
I thought he was going to make it back up.
Oh, Peace, you are precious. As Northwood, that was a great attempt there, but again, Peace coming through with the big blade. But now Boat has an opportunity to respond here, but I think the key thing is Nenwai was able to hold on to that rally.
Yeah, very wise move from BSC, playing conservative with that ultimate. There's Boat onto the high ground. Oh, and immediately the kill is there. Manual and Peace combined for that one. And that's going to be a complete hold. And why it does go down, but I don't think it's going to matter in the end. Not unless Haven can get another trade. Cowman's still in this fight, but only temporarily.
Yeah, and then the late stagger onto Haven. I mean, basically, you're going to get one more crack at this if you're Northwood. The unfortunate thing is the only ult they're going to have online is Haven's High Noon, as Boat needs to get out of there.
Boat cannot die here.
Yeah, I'm like, BSC has the ability to use their bomb as a nice little regroup. Oh, no.
Oh. That's just another 15 seconds off the clock. Cowman trying to get out. Here comes the pursuit. The Deadeye investment from Manually, and Haven eats it. No shot. BSC now moving all the way out to the statues, chasing these kills. 23 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, the only thing you could say is that fight went relatively quickly, so you have the ability to definitely take another fight, but you got nowhere with your ults. In the meantime, Peace is going to have a blade to whip out for this next fight, and you should get the Orbital Ray if you're Proto. This is dangerous.
Yep, it's that ult difference. All day long, it's been Northwood with the good macro. BSC have the advantage here. Boat gets the touch. Just screaming across the corner of the point. Deadeye out here from Haven. tried to turn the corner. Everybody gets out of their beautiful speed ring out of Proto, and now the orbital ray invested into it. Peace with yet another Dragon Blade into this. Lep is one, Lep is down, up to the rooftops. Peace will watch and celebrate as BSC will take the win today over Northwood Blue in a 3-2 5-map banger. GG's all around.
This is what we expected out of two of the top 4 teams in Collegiate right now. Came down to the wire, map 5 banger, but when it came down to it, BSC came up with the goods, and a lot of it came through with big pop-off blades, especially on this map from Peace.
It's just all series long. I think we could just make a highlight package of just the Peace reel. Like, it would just be the it's just a Peace highlight reel. That's what it would be. I mean, Peace has to be your player of the match here, at least as far as my humble opinion. My goodness, what an outstanding player! What a wonderful come up! What a wonderful glow up from Peace here in NA and in this collegiate scene. Amazing player. Oh my goodness, what a pickup!
Been absolutely one of the MVPs of Collegiate.
Yeah,
that is Peace,
and we're seeing.
The reason
BSC is now in a top 4 spot, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see where they go from here. I mean, could they? I mean, I'll be honest. I don't expect them to beat ISU, but can they push ISU? Like, take a map off them, or make it at least make them sweat a little bit. I think they have that ability in them.
I absolutely think they have that ability at them, 100%. Oh my goodness. I can't wait until we get into playoffs here at NECC as well, as we're going to see all these top collegiate teams clash. And, well, right now BSC have the feather in their cap. They were able to take the dub over Northwood here in this final week of regular season. That's something that you can take into postseason. That's the kind of confidence you can take into future matches, both here in NEC and across the breadth of collegiate Overwatch.
Going to agree with you more, and with how from what I could tell based on the brackets, how it's going to turn out is ISU and BSC will likely be on opposite ends of the bracket. Like, if they meet each other, it'll be in the grand finals. So that would be pretty insane. With that, we are going to be taking a quick break and setting up for the second game, which is a battle for the country of Canada, as we will see who's going to take that victory right after this break.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. I think he found the other side.
Go.
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Reach.
Just
Grab my hand. I can't hold. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
All right, we are back here in our final match of regular season here for NECC Collegiate Overwatch. It's Jeff and Ray back at you here for our second final match of the night here on this lovely Friday evening. We're going across the border here. We got University of British Columbia taking on University of Alberta as we get a bit of a battle for Canada.
Ironically, Bolskanka, my mom's half of the family is actually Canadian, and they live in Alberta. So very interesting. I am aware of this college. I want to say one of my cousins went there. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. But at least it's familiar territory for at least my side of the family.
I cannot hear you whatsoever. So, yeah.
My apologies. I think I figured it out. Sorry, what I said was my side of the family's Canadian, and they're actually from Alberta. So,
I went to school in
familiar
Vancouver.
territory here. I'm aware of this college. Like, I think one of my cousins might have gone there.
Yeah, I went to school in Vancouver, which is where University of BC is located. So that's yeah, we got a little bit of ties in there. Oh, beautiful country. Both Columbia and Alberta are just the most beautiful country you could ever imagine. It goes beyond what you could imagine. I mean, you talk about like Banff and getting to that territory.
Yeah.
Oh,
my family loves to vacation at Banff for sure.
Just amazing. And you know what? I expect good stuff out of both of these teams. It's kind of our first look at both of these teams. Don't know a whole lot about them going in. I do recognize one of the coaches. Zion was a coach for, I believe, Team Argentina in World Cup and is just a coach I've seen around. And there's a couple of names I recognize. Caboose is a name that I recognize. I'm not even sure if it's the same player, but we're in Division 3 here, so we'll be learning a bit about these schools here together, friends.
It's really nice to see a lot of the Canadian colleges getting involved. I mean, St. Clair's obviously is the one that stands out the most, but seeing some more of these other colleges, they're in Division 3, obviously, but trying to get their Overwatch programs going and build themselves up. It's really nice to see. So it's not just totally American dominated. It's nice to see. I think we're starting to see some Mexican universities get involved too. So it's really cool seeing all of NA get involved in collegiate.
Yeah. North America does encompass the entirety of this continent, not just the United States. We got a little look at that today. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starters here as we get these teams on screen. I'm excited to see. Oh, hey, look, Ninwai has made the jump. Ninwai's playing for UBC now. Oh, that's it. They're winning. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Again, when it comes to these lower divisions, Division 3, I think the one thing we can look forward to is not always the standard compositions that we're used to seeing from the top tier teams of Division 1. This is where you can start seeing some wacky stuff and teams playing to like interesting, strong compositions for them specifically that we might not see all the time.
And that's, commonly called like a skill check, right? Where you if you start bringing in unusual compositions, then you kind of have to go back and dig deep into your fundamentals of Overwatch. You're trying to remember, wait, how do I counter a Reaper Symmetra? How do I counter this Bastion? How do I counter this Junkrat on Control Center? Like you kind of have to start digging deep and figuring out the fundamentals when it's not the same thing you're just scrimming week in and week out.
As we do have the first map pick coming in, Control is what we're starting out on. Map number 1 for this series is going to be Lijiang Tower. And I'm going to be honest, Bill Skunk, I've been kind of on a Nepal streak in NECC recently, and then obviously our last series, it started out on Ilios. So I'm kind of ready for some nice Lijiang Tower action.
Just kind of get back to basics here a little bit. Just go Lijiang King's Row just for old time's sake, right?
Right. That just seems like that's like classic map 1-2 when you think of Overwatch. And given that, I can already tell you guys we're starting out on Gardens here. So the ability for these teams when it comes to a map like Lijiang Tower, this is the one map where dive can kind of come into the equation. Obviously you talked about, possibly seeing Symmetras given, being in some of the lower divisions. So you get like more interesting quirky comps, and Symmetra also works very good TPing through that window classic strat there. So I think there's a lot of options on the table here, especially for Division 3.
Being shown a little bit of some fun stuff right out of the gate here. Man, I hope this stands. We actually get to see the Reinhardt versus the Malga. This would be interesting. This would be a little interesting. We are seeing some shades of the meta. We're getting the Brig Juno from at least one side. Looks like UBC showing us the Baptiste alongside the Juno. Very interesting variation.
As it does look like we are going to get the Ryan versus the Malga, exactly what you wanted, Bullskung, which I think the more interesting part of this Malga composition is the Pharah with it, and it gets a double kill with the, oh my goodness!
3 people end up in the streets of Lijiang Tower right out of the gate. Magpolar with the double on the Conch Blast. Caboose got one of their own right.
What a way to start off a series. I'm like, oh, this Pharah is interesting, gets a double kill. Oh, craziness, as that's going to be a nice easy point cap for UBC, as we do see the swap coming out from Quotient going over to the Orisa now.
The M Prodigy is going to come off of that Vap and onto an Ana to help this to help keep the Orisa alive. Rotation through White Room. How you're running into so much damage here with Magpolar throwing rockets down this long hallway. Of course, Gutty and Cha-Cha throwing everything they've got at you, but a beautiful purple forces Funk Dog back, even gets the Immortality field out, and Magpolar's able to follow up, or at least defend that, keep him at bay for a moment with that pick off the Pharah. So now University of Alberta pushing it 4 strong as they try to close this gap. Nade already used. Can they get the pick? Magpolar coming up on that barrage. Ewan's going to have a Deadeye available as well. You see Magpolar coming over the top. Couple of directs on a Quotient. We'll take the Orisa now.
And again, Magpolar on this Pharah playing absolutely fantastic. I mean, they've just been a nuisance in the skies, and they have not been able to do anything about it. I mean, it is tough sledding when you have a Genji Pharah who can't. I mean, the only really people who can shoot at is like the Juno and the Orisa kind of. So, you know, they're pretty much uncontested in these guys. Now they have Barrage to work with.
Not to mention the orbital radar accompanying with it. Once again, we're going to White Room rotation alongside here from University of Alberta. Caboose dropping in over the top. Shouldn't close the gap. Good purple in. The Conch Blast down onto Ewan. And, ooh, that's the Immortality field out of Nyx as well. Came out throwing in and an orbital ray over the point, but ends up dying to direct from Caboose. The deflect from Explode puts Ewan down off of their own Deadeye. That UA should get this flip off the back of that fantastic Genji play.
They are wasting a lot of time. They're basically going to put this in a one-fight territory, and they get the Ana out of the equation. I mean, it's going to be cleanups, but it's going to make sure that UAE can't play as aggressively as they would like without their Ana in the equation. They're going to have to forfeit a little bit of space.
Quotient still holding forward for now. I think they're baiting that they'll get their Ana back in time. To be fair, it has been a somewhat slow approach here from UBC, but they're right back onto this point. Ooh. Okay, White Room rotation from the rest of the pack. Ewan holding out here on the opposition bridge, trying to create a crossfire, trying to create some distraction in the back line. Trying to open things up here for Magpolar to drop this barrage into the mix. Oh, no! It's Caboose who lands the direct first right on top. Magpolar never saw that one coming. Explode with a blade into the pack. And that's going to be a 3-2 advantage here for UA as they move on to this point and try to take back what they can. UBC are starting to drop UA, get the point back into control.
The one thing you take away if you're UBC is you got UAE to use absolutely every single ult they had at their disposal. So you can re-engage with your window and your barrage, and you should be able to clean this up and hopefully take this first map point.
A lot of time here. As UBC are taking their time on this approach. Okay, and once again, the loop around from White Room. I mean, you're running into so much damage out of that Pharah. Makes this a very risky approach, but it's better that than trying to go across the bridge. Speed ring in. Oh! An explode finds Ewan immediately. Magpolar drops the barrage in the back. Does not find anything. Everybody from UA doing a good job of scattering. And as their double damage fails from that Ant Matrix, here comes Caboose. Pouring directs into the nice one. Through the window. Finds K-Bot right in center mass. And UA here in this what could be final fight after such a slow approach. They're going to get this thing to 99 here, Ray.
Yeah, and with the amount of late staggers they got, Ewan has to touch, but there's not much they could do. 4 health, couldn't get the recall in time. It is not looking good for UBC as UA, after losing 91%, comes back and gets the full 100% clean reverse.
Score 0-1.
And UA are your 5-1 team coming into this. So on paper, looking like the stronger squad versus the 3-3 record we see here from UBC. So we kind of expected UA to come out swinging and come out getting control. But I mean, they were on the back foot. They had their back up against the ropes for a lot of that. Though we do see that excellence when they pull through in the end.
Once they got their footing going and they had Caboose being able to basically take the spot of Magpolar in the skies on the fair and just be able to aggressively take their angles and just rain damage on, that's when they started to get things going. So now we head into definitely what's going to be the most brawl-centric map of these 3 sub-maps, which is Control Center, as we're going to see a big anti-nade coming in.
That's been the power of the honor right out of the gate. Funkdog still continues to push forward. Oh, it runs right over Explode. The Genji just gets flattened like a pancake from that overrun. And Caboose finds themselves completely separated from the pack.
So that's going to be the issue when you are UA in this situation, is you're going to have to make sure you take advantage of those big anti-nades. I mean, it's hard for you to get a massive 3 nade like that and not be able to get the follow-up. So in order for them to take full advantage of this composition, that's what we're going to need to see out of them. See forces Lucio back like that, but they don't have the follow-up.
Yep, not able to get in. And you'd like to see, ideally, I think you'd like to see the anti-nades during the cardiac overdrive out of Funkdog. Otherwise, they're just able to almost sustain infinitely, particularly if you're getting kills throughout. But a nice sleep will even the odds here a little bit. Both teams missing a DPS as UA make their way back onto this point. Nano boost in the pocket. You're going to go on to the Genji with it? No, it's on to Quotient on the front line. The Eraser tries to muscle forward. Can't quite land the spear. Nice dodge out of Ewan. Good movement. Ewan actually finds Explode through all of that. Under incredible duress. Ewan still able to stay on 2 feet. Now rolls away out of the Terra Surge. Gets the kill on a Quotient. Magpolar cleans up.
My jaw dropped during all of that. I mean, Quotient was putting everything in trying to get Caboose. They just dodged and weaved and found their way out of there, and then even used the Terra Surge unit, just came up with nothing. Orbital raise for both teams, able to commit into this next fight, but Magpolar's got the difference maker in this blade ready to pull and strike.
Oh, as we get a quick pause there. The pause came through as the coach put it into chat, so I think it was actually an auto pause. Hopefully we don't get a DC here out of UA. As they were the ones that called for the pause. Caboose and Lao Zhu are sitting on their ultimates. Explode very close to that blade. So hopefully they don't lose any of that, because that could be disastrous here. They're already at a 0-63 on Control Center right now, Ray.
Again, it's looking pretty good for UBC so far. I mean, Magpolar has been the difference maker, whether it was on the Fair on the previous map and now on the Genji, being able to find kills time and time again. But Caboose, I mean, the amount of dodging and weaving they've been able to do throughout this map, and even on the Farah, they were very hard to take down. So, I mean, this DPS line has definitely been strutting their stuff so far. We talked about how UAE is definitely the favorite coming in here with, the 5-1 record, but for UBC, they have to win this game in order to secure a spot in the playoffs. If they don't, they're not out, but their fate isn't in their hands. So they have a lot to play for here.
Yeah, sitting at 3-3. I mean, right at 500 coming into this final game of the regular season. But a lot of pressure on. And you can see UBC kind of rises to the occasion here. I mean, they do have the lead on this sub-map, but they're down overall. They got to send us to a third sub-map if they wanted to take a 1-0 lead here to start off the series. Overrun in. Funkdog immediately finds Caboose. So good start here for the University of British Columbia as we cut back into Control Center, and they're going to go ahead and conclude this fight. Looks like there was no DC, so the macro not disrupted here from either side.
One final fight for UA to try and turn this around, but backs against the wall. Last time they were able to win the fight and then win every single fight after that, but UBC's got a war chest to be able to use here, so UAE is definitely in an uphill battle at this point as Explode is now on the Tracer.
Cage plus Blade could just seal the deal here. And the Cage fight is out. The Anti is in on the Funkdog, but they're able to just top right back up. Sound barrier over the mix. Here comes Caboose. The Deadeye! Funkdog is down! Magpolar pulls out the Blade to try to bring it back. K-Bot's able to get one as well. So advantage here to UBC, and K-Bot will pile on, doubling down. That's the team kill. That is us going on over to round 3.
That's what I love about diving into some of these lower division matches. I love seeing the Mauga come back. I know so many people were getting all Mauga'd out after, what we were dealing with for a long time where Mauga was absolutely powerful, but kind of balanced him out a little bit, and he's very niche, but has some situations where he does good. And right here, I mean, that cage fight, big deal, completely isolated Quotient on that Orisa, and basically forced a lot of the positioning out of the side of UAE.
I mean, when it was just two Maugas staring at each other, like just kind of shooting at each other indefinitely, and it was just a giant staring contest, yeah, that was super boring to watch. But since we've kind of got Mauga, since the changes, is more kind of this ground dive character. And so you see the big overrun in, and what we're often see paired with, with the hyper fast supports that we're seeing now, as well as the Genji. So watch for Magpolar to continue to follow up on these big overruns from Funk Doc. That one is there! Lao Zhu is already down, but they don't get even into the mix. It turns into a bit of a mosh pit out in front of Gardens. Then Explode comes up with one to find Magpolar. It looks like UA will grab first control.
So that was kind of the first time where you talked about how you want to get that nade to try and force out that cardiac overdrive, and we kind of saw that time around. And, I mean, it worked beautifully. They're able to clean up very quickly. UAE takes the point, and now if you're UBC, having to play this ground pound style where UAE is now able to fight aggressively, it makes it that much harder because you don't have a lot of angles to quickly use those charges to get in.
Ooh, and you gotta make sure everybody gets in. Ewan can't even get through the choke. Was trying to catch up with Funk Doc, and beautiful shooting out of Quotient. I mean, just in that fight before it ever started.
UAE hoping to avenge that last map that they ended up dropping. So far, so good. I like this Genji Pharah combination. I mean, there's only two possible directions you can come from, and you can just have Caboose just continuing to free fire like this.
Buckshot able to close a little bit of the gap. Ewan once again low on the back. The Prodigy Queen already down. Good pickup from NECC as the backline from UBC getting involved in the kill feed. Nice overrun and the follow-up on the Lao Zhu. And UBC finally able to get this Mauga composition to work here for him on Gardens.
And they really didn't have to use anything. So now they're going to have the ult economy to combat what UAE is going to be able to come into this next fight with. And alone, this orbital ray should be enough to do the job, but Explode's going to be ready, has this blade to be able to use.
And by the way, quick self-correction, it's Night Market, not Gardens. Explode's blade, able to get K-Bot 13% away from that sound barrier. Can they follow up on it? Quotient has just caught against the wall. No escape, no place to go. Now, NECC is trying to clap back here. We are going to get the orbital ray invested from Lao Zhu to try to secure this point. And Lao Zhu is able to get one. Explode's able to get one. So they will eventually send UBC packing, despite it looking a little hairy there for a moment.
As we see the point flip coming in for UAE, and I mean, it kind of was an expensive fight, all things considered. You traded orbital ray for your orbital ray and nano blade. So UBC is going to have the tools to re-engage, but as we talked about, UAE has a lot of tools to just free fire from these two doors that you can only come from if you're UBC.
And Explode is happy to go fill whatever door you don't take. Explode is there playing the angle. Sound barrier engaged. He was going to go ahead and throw in the Bob. And Sleep landed onto the Mauga as Caboose threw in the barrage over the top. Caboose not able to escape, though. Magpolar and NECC coming up with the kills. Funk Doc's got one in the, here as well. Magpolar looking to chase off, and yeah, there you go. UA kind of stuck along this coast side, and the flip comes through.
It just feels like time and time again, these teams have a great job of re-engaging cleanly and finding quick team fight wins to be able to flip this point quickly. As it's going to come down to, you get maybe two more cracks at it if you're UAE to bring this in. They got Nanoblade coming online very quickly, but Magpolar has the Naked Blade to work with here.
Big purple in. Magpolar's going to get two. No ultimate necessary. Including a kill on Lao Zhu, which keeps them behind. NECC managed to get up to that orbital ray here. Both of our Judos use their orbital ray at roughly the same time, and NECC has just been outstanding through this map and puts another one in the feed. That's the third or fourth final blow we've seen come out of NECC, and they continue to put him up.
And with how long that fight took without them backing out, they went straight to the point instead of re-engaging. You're going to get a very scattered final attempt from UAE. I mean, they do have the blade online, but UBC winning that fight without committing any ults have the tools to deal with what's coming.
There we go. It's going to be the beam blade out. Allows you immediately down in 2 quick slashes of the sword. Caboose suffers the same fate. And your underdog of UBC are looking on top. A terror surge from Quotient, a desperate move to try to pull this out. Explode with a similar move. Neither find any purchase. This point flipped back over. Overtime is slowly leaking away. Anybody there for the touch? That is a no. UBC, your 3-3 squad, will take map 1.
As we talked about, UBC is fighting for their playoff lives right now, coming to map number 1 against a 5-1 UAE team and get the big dub. And that's got to be some great positive momentum. I mean, as a team, we have to get this win, and to come out firing like this, huge deals. We get to see that Magpolar play the game to open things up.
Very first play of the series right there. Nobody even made it across the bridge before Magpolar starts putting kills into the feed. Hey, you know what? Caboose was striking back just as, immediately put one up of their own. And it's, I think it was really the backline that impressed me the most from University of British Columbia through that one, though, Ray.
And now, as we talked about from map number 2, comes into the strategies where they get to pick between hybrid and escort, and then between there you get your map picks and your map denies. I mean, Legion Tower, we kind of just saw a bunch of brawl out of both of these teams no matter what. So I feel like we don't know exactly if this is what these teams want to play going forward. I mean, who knows if we get taken to a dive map next? Like what we saw in the previous map, we went to Circuit Royale for map number 2, and Sigmas just came out, and Northwood was able to come back firing. So I can't wait to see what other compositions we could see out of these teams.
Well, we did get a little bit of a hint at that, where we see Prodigy Queen kind of pulling out the Baptiste and then pulling out the Ana. It kind of would lend itself to slightly different compositions, right? That is in of itself a stray from what we've seen in the Brig Juno backline. And once they get to pick a map, maybe UA takes us to a place where we start seeing a little bit more Winston, or start seeing even more brawl, see more Macho, where the Baptiste tends to thrive, something of that nature. But I think just those variations we've seen in the support line are kind of our little indications of what we might see in the future.
Only time will tell, as we are just waiting for the map. I mean, we do know hybrid is going to be what we get. UAE has chosen hybrid as what we're going to. So, it opens up. I mean, hybrid is just so vast. You generally, a rule of thumb for me is escort is normally like you either have poke or you have dive, generally speaking. There's obviously nuances here or there, but those tend to be the main 2 comps I think of when I think of escort. Hybrid is just so varied. I mean, you got dive maps like Numbani, you got brawl maps like Kings Row, you got in-betweens with Blizzard World. So really the strategy is going to come in for UBC, where they get their map ban now that they know it is hybrid.
And it's going to be Perry Iso banned out here from UBC. So that's an interesting choice. Again, I mean, that's not one you would expect to get banned or even to get played very much. So with UBC removing probably the most high ground oriented map out of the pool as far as hybrid's concerned, maybe it tells us they want to keep to this ground and pound kind of play style. I think Alberta's going to oblige them here, Ray.
You said what? Sorry, what?
Alberta's going to oblige them in this ground and pound play style here with this map pick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kings Row. I mean, what do we say come to this? Let's just get back to, little Lijiang Tower, Kings Row back to back. And
yep.
We are getting exactly that classic Overwatch that we see here, folks. So again, we know the story of Kings Row. Expect more brawl, more ground and pound. I do think it still opens the door if these teams want to play the Pharah. That especially on the attack, I'm not necessarily sure about the defense, but you have especially on first point attack, you got a lot of airways to work with for that opening attack if we want to see teams continue to play the Pharah.
Yeah, it's become very popular here, really on both sides. Definitely more so for the attack. You can put pressure down behind Hotel to try to move your team either to second floor up on top of house, on the other side of from the attacker spawn, or even just push through hotel and try to kind of collapse down into the back of hotel and work your attack that way. The Far does a lot to corral. One thing you got to watch out for, though, is you got a hit scam, kind of stationed up on that high ground. It's definitely become the meta for King's Row, is position all your defense on that high ground and maybe leaving a flanker or a flex DPS to help contest hotel.
And again, as we mentioned, UBC, everything is out in the open for them. They know they need this victory. They did a great job. First map, Kings Row, that Mauga composition, they had great follow-up on those Mauga charges time and time again. And they found very great utility. I think with Magpolar, between the Pharah and the Genji, they have looked very strong so far. And hopefully they can continue to carry that through and punch their ticket to the playoffs.
Well, and the one thing I'm concerned about is control, particularly Lijiang Tower control, is not a whole lot of room for your hit scan to pop off. And we know just how strong hit scan can be in this meta. And considering we're looking at a 5-1 record and what we saw there, I wouldn't surprise me if we see Caboose come out on an Ashe to hold that high ground, or even to attack that high ground and really start taking over. Because hybrid is really, once you get into these longer maps, your hit scans start becoming more and more important into the mix. A lot more so than we see on the close quarters combat that is Night Market and Control Center.
As we get the GL, good luck, have fun from Caboose. As classic Kings Row, we get the evening version where the sun is still setting. Again, it's not surprising here from UBC to continue to play the Mauga. I do like Ewan going over to the Ashe. Ashe is just so good on a map like Kings Row, especially on the defensive end where you have so much high ground to be able to work with. Dynamites come through big time. UAE, I mean, the Orisa is still always going to be strong even on Kings Row, but this is kind of what I was thinking about, being able to play the Pharah here. There's going to have to be very careful of these Ashe sightlines from Ewan.
I immediately just want to go into, I have the high ground Anakin. Like, it's just Ewan McGregor. That's all I think of when I see the name. That's all I think of.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Caboose, seeing it. They can find a little headshot here. I've actually never seen this angle from the window to take.
Yeah, we've started to see, everybody's been using the top window, so we have definitely started to see more creative rollouts from our Widowmakers. It actually looks like Caboose is sticking with this as they land a couple of shots onto that front line of Funk Doc. That was playing with fire there, Nix.
They do get Ewan, but already 2 picks found, make that 3 as UAE's just got to get back to the spawn room, as Ewan will be back very shortly, and they'll be back into a 5v5 situation.
It is a longer run back here for UBC. Okay, I got Explode is back. I thought Explode was going to go ahead and try to push this up in pressure, but it looks like we're going to get a complete change here. Yeah, we're going over to the Venture Junker coin.
Again, so this is just going to be high octane. Get in there quickly, Quotient, get onto people, and Explode, just continuing to find off angles and pepper people from an angle.
Yep, it's a rush in through Hotel, but one that UBC is able to catch beautifully as they kind of loop around and pulled UA out from that flank, and they just cut him down. Again, that backline from UBC showing up in a big way in the mix, so they do lose Nyx.
Once again, you do find the Juno, but Nyx should be back quickly considering you have a speed ring and a possible Lucio taxi as well. So, it's not really going to matter that much, even though UAE is on a faster comp now, and the Juno will be back in time.
Medium push in, but Magpul snuck in through Hotel. Nobody was watching that side flank. Caboose gets absolutely cut down, blindsided there from Magpolar. Able to escape up to the high ground with a nice amount of health. Caught in the corner, Prodigy Queen's going to go down. Laoju does strike back. An important pick on to K-Bot, but you pick the fastest hero to get back. So this defense holds. 2 minutes to go.
UBC, man, they are fighting hard to punch their ticket to the playoffs. And again, they've been able to cleanly just win these teamfights. They don't need ultimates. Magpolar's just continuing to flank and find picks time and time again. Ewan opens it up with on Caboose.
And is going to pop the overclock immediately after. You got Quotient coming in from the outside. We'll get that kill on it. It would have been Is there anything left? Explode pops the Tectonic Shock to even the odds. 3v3 left on this point as Caboose goes back over to the Widowmaker. A couple of shots land in. The drill dash puts Magpolar back into the spawn. Now Funkdoc is just trying to back away. Pursuit in from Explode, but they're not at full strength. They can't commit this entirely.
Yeah, especially with the Orbital Ray coming in for UBC, they have to back out.
And the Orbital will buy enough time for the Cavalry to show up here for this defense in British Columbia. And a bit of a reset. Quotient now with the Rampage available as they push into the back. Quotient, ooh! I thought about trying to use it there. It's actually the cage fight coming out on the other side. Sound Barrier invested from UBC. Magpolar with the blade. They've got 2 kills to their 3 ult investment. And it's going to be enough to hold. Isn't it enough to hold through this next fight, though?
And UBC does a great job of knowing the situations they're in and getting back and fighting to them. They do get NECC there, but I mean, with the tank trade out, it doesn't really matter.
Only if Quotient can get back in the fight before NECC does. Try to take advantage of this.
Yeah, I mean, Explode's going to go over to the Genji, but I mean, again, with the Speed Ring and the Lucio Taxi, it's not really going to matter. I mean, UBC has no ults to work with, so this Rampage actually is going to be very powerful. Quotient has to take advantage.
Caboose was able to buy some very important space. And look how far Quotient has pushed in. The clean K-Bot off the point. Magpolar has gotten the exact opposite high ground, trying to kind of pull UA in separate directions like Plato, but Caboose on that Widowmaker does indeed make good use of that one-shot kill. And UA finally will get this card on the road.
Finally going to get things done in overtime. As UBC, I mean, it felt like, you know, the Rampage came through big, was able to get K-Bot, but they weren't able to disengage as a group. Like Magpolar got themselves, you know, isolated, got picked, and then there was, I mean, at that point, it just looked to regroup as a full 5 because you don't want them taking this archway for free.
And UA are already picked up to the bookstore. Looks like reclaiming some of this space. Ooh, that's Explode caught inside the bookstore. Looks like they were able to dash out, just barely getting away in one piece. Quotient now trying to push back through. It's a Speed Ring disengage for UBC, except for Funkdoc. Funkdoc's going to hold the line up front. Next is going to go ahead and invest the Orbital. Magpolar finds an immediate kill onto Caboose. Magpolar backline enemy lines. The dash through onto Lao Zhu. Lao Zhu is close to a Rampage. Are they going to go and pull the trigger on it with Explode getting that kill? You betcha they should. Yeah. There's the Rampage out with Funkdog in their face. They get the stun, and immediately a kill on the back of it. But Funkdog shuts down that rally, and Magpolar is able to strike back. Oh, but it's not going to be enough. The defense falling apart at the last moment as UA hang on.
That still was a very long team fight from UBC to waste a lot of time. You're in a situation now where, yes, Quotient's going to have the Rampage, but now you have a really good counter to that with K-Bot's Sound Barrier. Ewan can look to put a lot of pressure on with a overclock of their own. The blades, I mean, just have dueling blades.
And there's that Sound Barrier out. Indeed, perfectly timed to counter the Rampage coming in. Even as low, Funkdog got 2 inside the cage. We'll make good on that. And now the pursuit comes in.
It's all going to come down to one final fight for UAE to try and get second point taken. They will have that pivotal orbital ray, which tends to be an ult that can win you a fight by itself, and they'll have a blade to be able to throw in with it. While UBC, they really don't have any defensive tools. They just got to rely heavily on Magpolar or Ewan popping off with their ults.
TPO's at the ready. Orbital Ray used early, and here comes the smashdown. NECC is already dead, and Explode's already picked up 2. Magpolar trying to equalize with their own Dragon Blade. Finds a pair of kills to the 3 on the other side. It's a 2v2 left on this point. It's just the Chunker Queen and Prodigy Queen standing here for University of Alberta. Prodigy Queen low, but Quotient will take Magpolar down. There's still
but because it's only 2 left on the point, you have the ability to re-engage here through UBC.
There's the overclock in for you, and not able to find anything with it. There's a contest happening up front. It's just a Lucio there to try to prevent the cap. Here comes Wrecking Ball. Funkdog is back into the mix to see if they can stop University of Alberta right here, right now on this second point. Caboose here on the On the Sombra of all things, doesn't quite land the virus, and Backpolar comes in over the top of the kill with the drill dash. Over to right thrown in here from Nyx, and Funk Doc immediately takes Prodigy Queen down. No supports left standing here for Alberta. As a desperate attempt looking at everything coming in Explode's direction. They still managed to find one, but that is nothing, not going to be enough. Nothing but a consolation prize here for Alberta. What a stop out of BC.
Nyx being able to get up that orbital array just in time was basically the nail in the coffin to be able to get that done. And the re-engages were good. I mean, the Wrecking Ball was able to stall long enough in order to buy time for Nyx to be able to get that online, and then they're able to clean shop at that point. So things are looking up for UBC. I mean, really, King's Row, I feel like it's not... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's not uncommon for you to cap 2 points. I mean, normally with King's Row where you get stuck is when you're trying to push the third point. So I feel like they have a really nice win condition here to go up 2-0 in a must-win game for them.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Pushing to the back of point B is fairly common, right? It's not super difficult to get the cart this far. You can get stalled out here, and you can lose a lot of time here. But if the back of point B, if the entry to the Foundry is as far as you have to push, then you can just bank ultimates in and just go throw a 5-stack at this point.
And a lot of this great momentum and second point stop was on the backs of just a really good point A defense. I mean, it took them to overtime for UAE to be able to get that. So at that point, they only really got 2 or 3 fights for that second point before all their time was completely off of the clock. UBC are riding a big wave of momentum after being able to take a big map 1 victory and what would be considered a pretty big upset, 3-3, taking down the 5-1 team.
Yeah, I mean, UA are currently your second place team in this region / division. UBC, trying to punch above their weight class right now, and looks like they are. Looks like they are absolutely rising to the occasion here. And I mean, if they go up 2-0 here, and then they move to match point already, ooh, then we've got ourselves a series here, friends.
I mean, this is nothing against, I know my family's from Alberta, but I'd love to see a team be able to punch their ticket to the playoffs. I just find myself rooting a little bit for that underdog, knowing like they just have all of that angst. Like, come on, guys, we just need this one win. I know they got the better record, but we get into playoffs like this. Like, this is the kind of stuff you live for when it comes to these Overwatch moments.
And UBC have been able to set the pace here on this defense of King's Row. I mean, they're the ones that are forcing swaps out of the other side. UA are trying to mix and match and change to try to see if they can find a way to crack open this defense, trying to find the can opener here to what has been a rock-solid bulwark out of BC here on King's Row. And because of that, I mean, BC, they stay in that flow with their macro. They're not sacrificing ultimates to try to make swaps and to try to adjust. UBC just kind of stayed in their rhythm, stayed in the groove throughout that entire defense, and that macro served them very well against that backline. Once again, that backline of Nyx and K-Bot has been spectacular.
That it has. So I'm very excited to see where this goes from here. Can UBC continue this momentum that they've gained from map 1 and stopping them at point 2? Or will UAE find the rhythm they've not been able to find yet as a 5-1 team and say, sorry, I know you guys are looking to punch a ticket to the playoffs, but we're looking to ride into the playoffs on some positive momentum?
I think a lot of it's going to come down to Caboose. My mind immediately goes back to that hit scan. Caboose needs to heat up. Caboose needs to start taking over and make UBC think twice about which avenues they're coming in on, what their pathing looks like, because running into Caboose, there's a high percentage chance that it's just an immediate trip to watching the spawn timer.
Well, only about 30 or so seconds before we get to find out if UAE will tie the series up or will UBC put themselves on match point. No surprises from either team. We're seeing them continue to play, what they played at the end there. UBC going to continue to play their Mauga, while UAE started to find some mixed results with the Junker Queen. We'll have to see if they can continue to do this defensively. I definitely like the Junker Queen a little bit better as an attacking situation, but I think if played right, it can be very deadly on this defense as well.
Doesn't quite have the sustain of the Mauga, but you do have some map control, the ability find a quick pick in the back line for sure. You can see how aggressive UA is getting right out of the gate. They know they've got to play fast here. Ooh. Oh, but they get punished for it. The back line of UBC shows up again. 3 picks here between Nyx and K-Bot.
Sheesh, man, that was just blink of the eye and 3 were killed. That's how fast these Malca compositions can go. As you mentioned, it's just basically a ground and pound, like dive ground situation where they're just charging in, getting the big setup with the charge, and then they have the follow-up and people just die quickly.
Yeah, we've definitely seen the evolution of ground dive here over the past year or so. It doesn't just belong to Diva and Winston anymore. Well, I guess Wrecking Ball will be thrown in that too.
We do see UAE going over to the Winston now, and UBC has made an adjustment and had Magplar go over to the Reaper after seeing that.
Yeah, Caboose take it to the skies as well as even gets into the mix. Project Queen already down. Going over to their own Kiriko, but here comes Quotient into the back. Looking to trade out, but it's a 2-for-1 favoring British Columbia as they push through the archway. Quotient, what are you doing? Quotient just like took a trip through the front line at UBC, like going through high-fiving everybody? What was that, Quotient?
It was like the good game. That
was totally a good game moment.
Oh, man. 5 minutes on the clock, and you basically just got to get this point all the way to the end of B. Things are looking very good for UBC to put themselves on match point, but who knows? I mean, you can waste a lot of time on this point B.
But, yeah. Plenty of time to work with, though, that's for sure. And even already it has first kill. And it couldn't be onto a more priority important target. The take out of the picture. This cart looking around the last corner. UBC haven't even had to spend a single ultimate yet. And they're already starting to get entrance into the Foundry. A couple of late kills to boot. Yeah, this is going to be a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I don't even know if you're going to have the ability. I mean, you might be able to have a speedy character come in and touch. The Lucio is down, and oh, it's looking bad.
Death Blossom just a body block the point. A flawless attack out of UBC. I think they maybe had 2 or 3 deaths in the entirety of that attack. It didn't feel like it was very many.
UBC looking like they're primed and ready to try and punch their ticket to the playoffs. The one thing I'd say to them is you can't get complacent. You still have one more map to win to be able to ensure you make the playoffs. So make sure you continue to play aggressive the way you have been and carry this through to map number 3.
Couldn't agree more. And they've been playing it their way, Ray. They have been doing it their way. It's been Funky Doc on the Malga of all things. A hero we have not seen in the mix hardly at all. But you know what? UBC, they're playing by the beat of their own drum, and they are definitely setting the rhythm here so far. We're gonna take a little quick break. When we come back, it'll be another map pick out of Alberta to see if they can start the reverse sweep. Don't go away. We'll see you back here for more NECC in just a minute.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh! Ah, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It was worth it.
The will to win is what separates those who become legends from those who are full of sorrow and regret. And UBC has shown us a massive will to come out on top here, 2-0 over the 5-1 University of Alberta, 2 maps into this series.
As we talked about, UBC needs this to punch their ticket to playoffs, and they are on match point, as you talked about, and it's all coming down to this push map for UAE to try and get back into the series. Runasapi is where it could all end for UAE, and UBC could punch their ticket if they do well enough on this map.
British Columbia banned out Esperanza headed into this map we saw in our last series. Runasapi has certainly been very popular and favors a lot of the flanking heroes. So we saw Explode kind of find a good rhythm on Li Zhong on that Genji. I think this could be a place for them to step up on that hero once again.
As we're going to have to see for the side of Magpolar, I do think this map is going to be very great. They've been very good on that Genji, and I think the flank routes are only going to exacerbate those abilities for him. For UAE, I mean, the Orisa, I think Runasapi, I've seen a lot of teams really like the Orisa here, so I think it's still going to be good for them. I'm not sure how well the Malga plays on this map, but I mean, based on the aggressiveness that UBC has played with, I think that plays to their advantage on Runasapi.
I think the speed of the Malga composition will work really well here. I mean, pathing and rotations are so important on this map. If you don't make it to the right corner in the right amount of time, you give up a lot of space. You give up like that entire street, that entire long section. So the speed of the Malga, I think will serve UBC well here. Also, big shout out to our Heart Llama. I love getting the Heart alpacas from our wonderful observer.
I mean, hot take, I'll take the alpaca over Pachamaris. I love alpacas. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, that's it. We need actual Heart alpaca plushies. All right, let's make it happen.
Exactly. I would buy one.
All right, most teams tend to favor this outside area. You're going to play around this mega. It's exactly where we're going to see Funk Doc go. Get you in set up here on the south side. But UA are here, but they're not here as quickly. So UBC with a great defender's advantage, and they're going to go ahead and throw in the speed ring to try to engage. While used defensively out of Explode, who has come out on the May. So not on the fast-paced Genji like we've seen previously, like Magpolar is pulling out. But instead, on the slow, methodical May. We have already seen NECC open it up, but it's been a back and forth here. NECC is going to get a second kill in this fight and continues to impress me.
Yeah, that's a just team wipe for UBC. You did lose 2 in that, so you'll get the cart progress, but you can't afford to push up too much and take on UAE. As we can see, like the people are still coming back. I mean, they got the Lucio Taxi, but it's still going to take a second for them to come back as we see the Sniper May trying to look for some headshots.
Yeah, and this is kind of where that speed comes in. So UA not able to come hold this corner quickly enough to force everybody back. UBC keeping Funk Doc on this front lines. Maywall already is no longer a word. You have Magpolar entrenched here behind Quotient. This is a very strong position. Forces Quotient all the way back to the corner. And UBC have managed to control this very important open space where the checkpoint lies. And they're inching closer and closer to getting that close spawns. Checkpoint not quite unlocked, but Magpolar's going to dash through Quotient. Couple of tries, Shurikens land, and the Deadeye finishes Lao Shu off.
The aggression UBC plays with them, you lose E1, but you get those forward spawns, and you're going to win the fight in the end. So, I mean, UBC really wants it, man. They are putting themselves in a great position to beat the second seed in a 3-0 fashion and punch their playoff ticket. This would be such a good momentum shift coming into playoffs.
Oh my goodness. UBC are certainly digging deep. There's the duck around the May wall. Using that overrun just to get out of dodge. Magpolar stuck down low. Orbital ready there to bail him out, get him topped off. Perhaps to use this Dragon Blade, but Caboose is going to pop this Deadeye first. So UBC wisely just staying in cover. UA try to continue to pour on the aggression with this Terror Surge. Sound Barrier in, came up. Magpolar's low, but still on their feet. Now getting topped up and not even going to need the blade. The cage fight is in. The Blizzard isn't enough. No! Funk Doc just watches on through their frozen form.
Oh, absolutely insane that wasn't enough to get them through. And not only that, but they were able to bank their blade while UAE poured in everything Bull Skunk. That was a disastrous fight. And now Magpolar just has the beauty and freedom to do whatever they... I mean, the only thing they have to worry about is, maybe a break, the lad on the brig, limiting the amount of effectiveness of the blade.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get the first kill and get the dash, right? Ooh, Mag pulls the blade at 53 health. Okay, or if the Mei could just shoot you with an icicle, that works.
I mean, you will take that. I mean, it started with the big, great high noon, but it started with a great grenade from the cast.
I thought that kill on a Prodigy Queen might just open this up, but, Caboose and Explode clutched that one out without their Juno in the mix. They immediately respond with some quick picks. So, finally, UA have control of the spot.
104 meters gained for UBC, though. It puts them in such a great position for the rest of this map. Still over half the time on the clock, so UAE definitely has time to stage a comeback, but it has to start with another team fight victory in a row. They got to start getting some distance on this cart.
They're not able to even deny the close spawn. They can't even get back across the center line. UA were in a dangerous moment there. Magpolar had eyes set on that backline, just kind of out in the open. Not a whole lot of cover down this street. Exactly where you see these three players sitting out. So Caboose going to pop this Deadeye rally used from UA just to try to back up safely to this corner, and they can't get their tank there in one piece.
You did get E1 in the meantime, but again, they're getting so much forward progress on this cart. Even if they end up losing this fight, they should be able to get the forward spawns once again.
They never lost them. The bot didn't even make it back across the center point, and now another cage in. This Blizzard much better, though. Explode a lot more preemptive with that one, predicts the cage fight a lot better, and UA come out handedly in this one.
Yeah, the point with like them not getting back to the forward spot, I meant like they got the robot back onto their side so far that they're going to get the forward spawn still. Like the robot won't be able to reach the center before they all get him, so they're still going to get another fight here at the mid range.
Yes, that speed, man. I mean, you get the Juno plus the speed of the Malga. Okay, UA actually gets across the checkpoint. And this is going to be a nasty fight in this close quarter section. Sound barrier from K-Bot creating a lot of space. And Prodigy goes down. Does get the orbital ray out onto the battlefield, I think. Yeah, definitely got it out. Quotient with a 3-piece in that fight. And you can see all the assists from the dead Prodigy Queen.
Yeah, they opened it up with that orbital array. They got K-Bot to use a sound barrier, but it wasn't enough. They did a great job of taking full advantage of it, and they're able to finally get some distance on this cart. Just under half the time on the clock, UBC going to have a lot of ults to come back with their DPS ultimates, and I don't think this rally is going to be enough to sustain.
The wall just to try and see if they can hold this corner. A great spear in to interrupt the rally. Now the speed is up in the rally in the mix here from UA. They're going to just go ahead and push forward. Allows you to find Funk Doc. Go boost the Deadeye out of the back. Backpolar deflects it.
I mean, not going to really matter. You still get the forward progress, and it's likely they're going to be getting these forward spawns. So UAE finally finding their footing in this series and on this map in particular. As, I mean, they still have a distance to go, but getting those forward spawns is a big first step.
And I was hoping to see the DPS step up, and there's Explode with a good opener, and another Blizzard into the mix. Now Polar trying to play along the outside, got a couple of good slashes in, and will finish off the Brig. No death as a result of that Blizzard. Polar just continues to dance around, takes 2 down before finally being brought down themselves, but it's enough to put UBC in control.
All right, I don't know if we need to workshop this, or if there's already a name, but is there one for Blade and Orbital Ray at the same time?
I've been calling it the Beam Blade.
The Beam Blade. Okay,
Beam
I like
Blade.
that because,
Yeah.
I mean, that was absolutely deadly. I mean, Magpolar just was shredding through people with the help of that Orbital Ray, and now they got the forward spawns back in their favor, and they can hopefully add to their lead right here. I mean, neither team's really going to have an ultimate to work with.
Nope, right here in the neutral. Ooh, but Quotient steps up. What a big pick. Nyx has had such a huge impact in this map, and a beautiful wall will prevent the disengage. So UBC, no. I mean, I said they were looking like they were in a bit of a rough spot. They're still trying to fight it out, but indeed, UA will leverage that advantage into another engagement win.
As we get another pause coming in for this series. Had about 2.5 minutes left on the clock for UAE to try and turn this around. Based on what their bot is, you are likely going to be taking another fight in the mid area before you can get even more distance going. So you're going to have to keep that in mind if you're the side of UAE. But they do have their orbital array and their Terra Surge online to deal with that in the next fight. So they definitely have the tools at their disposal. The thing is, they're probably going to take this lead, they're going to have have to win at least 2 more fights in a row. So they got their work cut out for them.
And I think ideally you want to just use your support ults in this next fight, save the Terra Surge to build up those DPS ults to combo with it.
Yeah, and hopefully maybe with those support ults, you can try and get this beat out of K-Bot as well.
Oh, but Ewan already has Prodigy Queen down. You're not going to get that orbit already in this fight whatsoever. Explode's already fallen as well, and UBC are going to win this despite being down in ultimates. We still get the Terra Surge of the rally invested from UA. Oh no, it's a disaster.
Yeah, I didn't even realize the Terra. I mean, I saw the rally. I'm like, oh, that's kind of bad. I didn't to even throw in the Terra Surge into that. Once you lost your Juno, I feel like you just go back to spawn and reset. You needed to have all those tools to get yourself 2 team fights in a row. And because of all that, UBC didn't use an ult, and now they built up the ults of the rest of their team. They got they got their Mauga ult now and their Sojourn ult, and they'll get a blade from Magpolar.
I mean, you can just get 2 wicked combos here. Ewan again finds first blood. The cage fight is already out. Do they need anything to combo with this? Lao Shu comes up with a kill through it all. Caboose is able to find one as well. I believe it's a 3v3 here as Ewan pops in this overclock. Soundbarrier invested from UBC to try to hold this line. They're not really finding anything with it. Ewan finds himself in a 1v1 against Lao Shu. That is not a favorable matchup, especially if the spear comes through from down low. This Quotient with a long distance assist in that, and UA live to fight another day.
As this next fight's going to be a very interesting one because you're going to have a Blizzard but they're going to have the Beam Blade for UBC. Again, I feel like we saw what happened last time we had Blizzard versus the Beam Blade. The Beam Blade was able to take the victory.
I will say UA just do a good job of getting themselves back in the macro at all. Initial wall up, does get a couple of cooldowns out of Magpolar. Magpolar's low, and they're going to go down! They go down 99. You are not going to get the Beam Blade. You do get the beam, but you don't have the cutting edge to come with it. Disengage out of UA, and Caboose going to cover that here with this Deadeye.
As card distance is now beginning to come up for UAE, and they still have their Blizzard and their Rally to work with. I think they put themselves in a good spot here, but Magpolar could just turn everything around with a big blade.
I mean, Quotient's coming up on yet another Terra Surge, but they're not going to wait for that. Explode just wants to throw this in immediately on the drop down. You've got Funk Doc frozen up, cut in twain. Quotient coming up with a good pair of kills. Quotient stepping up big time here for this squad as they have all map long. Can you get this kill? Yeah, you bet you can. Explode's still here to help out. 13 seconds to go, and UA are a handful of meters from the lead.
As we see Caboose going over to the Sombra in order to try and touch, and time overtime's ensuing. Funk gonna go over to the Wrecking Ball as Magpolar goes to the Pharah.
The Wrecking Ball makes it in time to contest the lead. UA are holding on for a moment, and they've got opening pick onto that Pharah. There's the roll in through the top. Funk Duck's gonna drop down. Gets the pile drive onto the Brig, but the Brig won't die. Prodigy Queen with too good a heal. This backline holds. UA will force a map 4.
Wow, just when you thought UBC had all the momentum and they were going to bring it home, the side of UAE is able to make some big time changes, and they come back in this series, and the 5-1 team stays alive to try and come back in reverse sweep fashion.
Dude, Quotient had a hell of a map. This was a damn good fight here. Oh, yeah. Quotient was putting it up, I was kind of calling out to the DPS, which DPS players definitely stepped up in that one as well. We saw Caboose and Explode getting a lot more in the mix and having a lot more success, but it was really Quotient who I think kind of led the charge there, and the big reason UA got rid of that goose egg in the map score.
Yeah, I do think the May had some really... I don't think the Blizzards were always as effective, but they had some really good walls to stop disengages coming in from the Mauga, so I think that came in with a lot of good situations. And I even think at the end when they swapped over the Wrecking Ball to touch quick, they're like, let's go over to Sombra real quick. I mean, we need somebody to get back fast anyway. And we saw they swapped Wrecking Ball. So, I mean, the very nice plays coming in for UAE, and they keep their hopes alive. And this is where, as we head into map 4, we know some more strategies going to come in. We literally saw BSC took us to Clash. It was like, haha, we took them to the silly game mode and absolutely rolled them on it when it came to Northwood.
And forced a map 5 and then won it in map 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to have to see that this strategy comes into here when you get a pick between Clash and Flashpoint. And I mean, we've talked about, when it comes to these two maps, I think the composition that both of these teams have been running, the Mauga and the Orisa, they're going to be fine compositions that will work on either mode that we get. I mean, we have word coming in. It looked like we're going to Flashpoint from what I could tell.
Yeah, UBC have picked Flashpoint, and it gives UA the map pick between our two choices. So, I mean, they have Saragossa or New Junk City to choose between. So it's you don't have a ban here because of it. It's just your losing team picks the type, and then which was UBC, and then UA gets to choose between the remaining two maps.
What is interesting, because if you're the side of UBC, I mean, I think either of these maps are going to work just fine for your Malga composition. I think, generally speaking, I think New Junk City's probably a little bit better if you're going to play Malga. It's, I don't know. To me, it's a little bit more flat. There's less intermediate high ground to work with. I don't know. I don't know why in my head I'm thinking New Junk City would be better. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, you have the weird high grounds of Refinery and
that's
Ducks.
true.
Ducks, where you have that weird.
Yeah, Ducks.
Yeah, Refinery and Ducks are both just kind of strange, and I think those are the outliers of why we used to see a lot more Saragossa. Although New Junk City has slowly made its way into our hearts, and it will make its way into our series here tonight.
Interesting thing I'm now noticing is 2 series and we've had all unique maps so far, which hooray for that, man. That is really cool.
You are 100% correct. 9 maps and not a single repeat.
Exactly, which is really cool. New Junk City, I mean, I think when it comes to this, I mean, we know UBC just needs to stop this reverse sweep. They'll punch their ticket to the playoffs. As we mentioned, I think the Malga and the Risso will both be fine here. I don't think any of the maps, whether it was Clash or Flashpoint, are really going to be restrictive. It's not like you're on Numbani. It's like, I can't really play that here. But
yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't surprise me to see the Junker Queen come back out.
I think Junker
we'll
Queen's
Malga.
great. I mean, this is literally home turf.
Yeah, I mean, boom, right there. We get the Junker Queen kind of looking mask on the ducky. Is that a prediction here? Is that telling us? There's also a painting of a Riptire on the wall. I don't think I've ever noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, can I also get a rubber ducky? Blizzard, let me buy one of those too. I'll put that in my shower.
Rubber ducky, you're the one.
I'll admit, my house is very plain, Bull Skunk. I do not have a lot of
rubber duckies,
a lot of like knickknacks and stuff. So I could use stuff like that. So come on, Blizzard, let's go.
You just need some heart llamas and some rubber duckies. You'll be all set.
Exactly.
All right. We're going to get into the scrappy New Junk City.
Junker Queen from Quotient, baby. Home turf. Let's go.
Yup. Called that one. Ooh, look at that pick out of Ewan, though. We're getting the Reaper again. We saw this on map 1.
I think that's interesting. I do think it's not gonna. I mean, they did a lot to deal with the Winston 2 on map number 2. I'm not sure how to work against this Junker Queen though.
The Junker Queen definitely wants to get in your face, and immediately Quotient's already able to pick up 1. At least lead the way, and Prodigy Queen gets the final blow with those torpedoes. So a +1 to UA. They're going to exacerbate that player advantage and turn it into a first fight cap.
Yeah, this is where I think things get a little bit tough for the Malga composition. With the aggression that this Junker Queen can just play with, I think it's going to be, immediately I do think the swap was needed, and they're going to match the Junker Queen themselves.
And I think this is the first time we've seen this, right? This is the first time we've seen UA force UBC to make swaps.
It is the first time they have made a swap off of the Malga. Let's see how it goes for them.
There's the speed ring in. I mean, this is the triple speed Mach 6 composition. And, well, K-Bot apparently outsped themselves. This Quotient comes up with 1, Explode comes up with 1, and once again, UA have the advantage. Ewan's trying to lock down the Juno here with this Reaper, but Prodigy Queen just stays too elusive, able to get back up to that high ground, and Quotient comes up with a 4-piece of that fight.
This is not to like minimize any other player on UAE, but man, Quotient on these last 2 maps has been dynamite.
Yeah, 100%. Like, absolutely player of the map there in map 3, where UA get rid of the goose egg, and so far, a player of the map here at this first point in the opening battleground in New Junk City. Now has a Rampage ready to go. Not gonna need it. Pair of opening kills here as Explode has made their way in on the Venture. And what a good swap on that one as well.
Man, this is now looking like the 5-1 team we were kind of expecting and favoring coming into this series. I don't know if it took them a couple maps to, warm up and wake up a little bit, but man, they have finally, made the adjustments and they are looking absolutely fantastic.
By the way, I also just noticed that we had a sub come in. Echo has come in on the DPS role here for this Genji and has a blade ready to go. His quotient's going to hit multiple with that Rampage. Like a gargantuan purple all down to the back line. And Echo off the bench here from 3 final blows in this first fight of point B.
UAE showing that they have a lot of grit and aren't ready to give up just yet and are looking to, you know, complete this reverse sweep. This map has not been very close so far. It seems like, you know, this is exactly what UAE wanted. They wanted you to match them on the Junker Queen.
And it's forced NECC off of that Juno, where they have been so very effective. Now trying to play the Brig. Fend off Echo on this blade. Magpolar had one of their own. UBC come up with all the kills. Ooh, one slash on the Explode. Not able to find the second one before they get the pick on the K-Bot, but eventually we'll finish off what Magpolar started.
Yeah, Magpolar coming through with the big plays. It seems like when their backs are against the wall, Magpolar comes up with the goods for the big-time plays that they need. And they did get Rally and Blade out of UAE, so the ult economy shifts in the favor of UBC now. So hopefully they can start to swing some momentum in their favor for this map.
Magpolar playing off of that angle. Okay, he's going to get off of that soul flanking. At least drop down. Here comes the rush in. Oh, and fuck out drops the Rampage and everybody. That's a 4-player Rampage. Explode drops the Tectonic Shock, but just cannot survive long enough to really make anything of it. I mean, actually, it is the last one alive, but yeah, eventually you just get cut down.
Now, Funk Doc says anything you can do, I can do better. Gets a 4-piece of their own on the Junker Queen. And, I mean, puts themselves in a great position. Now they can, I mean, they're going to have an Orbital Ray and a High Noon. UAE has absolutely nothing to work with. I mean, at this point, if I was UAE, I'd be probably looking to just reset and take a fight at the next point.
They are going to go ahead and engage here, but they're running right into that Orbital Ray. And NECC, you know what? Seems just as apt at fighting kills on the Brig as they do on the Juno. There's a quick 3 light up the feed, and this is looking like a flawless fight for UBC. I say that, NECC does eventually fall, so not flawless, but still enough to tie up the map.
I guess the one thing UAE can, you know, take solace with was no orbital array for this next fight coming in, so they at least got rid of that big-time ultimate. But, I mean, the RNG for this map definitely favored UAE. They got bomb flats for the next one, so it's just a very quick rotation to get back onto this point for UBC.
Yeah, very lucky draw on getting bomb flats as they immediately get defender's advantage here. Much more difficult for Echo to try to walk in and the rest of the team to try to find purchase. Especially running into this dead eye, but that is a 3-player Rampage out of quotient as they immediately respond. These Rampages have just been fight winning for both sides. This quotient lights up the feed. Now, Magpolar does trade a couple out, but only a couple.
You're in a situation where E1 was mid-high noon when that Rampage came out, but they continued to hold on to it, hoping to get something at the end. I felt like at that point you probably should have just canceled it, especially since you're sitting there anti and your health is going down. Probably should have just looked to try and, you know, put yourself in a better position. Magpolar does have the blade to whip out to go against AKO in this next fight.
AKO with an aggressive dash through, finds a target in the back line, 2 quick slashes on NECC and they're down. There's 2, 3 on to Ewan, but Funk Doc responds. 3v3 left on this point. Magpolar and Funk Doc making the way on the objective. Funk Doc does have this ultimate if they want to invest it. Yep, they're going to go ahead and push through and find Prodigy Queen and Quotient and make the purple. Prodigy Queen ducking out and able to stay alive through it, and Explode is the one who's able to get that shot down on the K-Bot. Here comes, ooh, Magpolar and Funk Doc trying to combine. Explode just staying resilient.
Yeah, I think using that Rampage there was kind of a big mistake. You didn't really have the follow-up for now. Rally's going to come out to try and keep this going.
I'm not sure if UBC are at full strength. I mean, managed to fend off Explode with that Rally. The rest of the team is still waiting back here. Oh, and Explode still manages to get picks! No, the Venture is just drilling their way through UBC's ranks. Bored a hole.
Yeah. I mean, what, map point coming in for UAE, and they have another Rampage coming online. They have their Rally, and they have the Tectonic Shock. I mean, the one thing UBC will have is the Orbital Ray, so that alone could probably win them the fight and draw out some ults, so they really got to take advantage.
It's an early Rally, though, an aggressive play here out of UAE. They just put it into 6th gear immediately. They don't give UBC a chance to even think. Quickly, the feed lights up, and oh my goodness, how the winds have shifted in this match, Ray.
that. They have point taken by UAE, and all they used was rally. UBC still can re-engage with an orbital ray, but man, it is looking rough. UAE has found their mojo.
And now Quotient with yet another one of these rampages. Ooh, the Carnage doesn't quite land. Good move from Echo just to get around that corner, just in the nick of time. UA now looking to hold this top side, but Nyx and UBC put the hammer down. Deadeye, woo! Perfectly timed out of the deflect from Echo. You do still have Quotient to worry about, who never got a chance to use that rampage, by the way. He's going to go ahead and invest it in now. Funk Talk and Nyx both very low. Both find themselves in spawn. Ewan's going to go through, feels the brunt of the axe, trying to stay in this orbital ray. The ducking and dodging. K-Bot too elusive.
That was some crazy dodging and weaving. Keeping themselves just in the orbital ray to get the healing just enough so they couldn't finish off the kill. Get a lot of late staggers for UAE and UBC. Now holding strong, but really, with how fast these points tick up, UAE really only has to win one more fight to send this to a map 5.
They're walking into Blade as well as Rampage. Echo already low as Magpullar comes in over the top, dropping in out of the window to try to prevent that one fight win. It's a trade. Explode, take it out. You win. Oh, and Echo finds Magpullar. Even without their take, I think UA has done it. Because the Rampage is late from Funk Talk. Nobody there to follow up. There's the flip. Or do we get another fight?
I mean, they're going to go over to the Wrecking Ball, so it's definitely possible you'll have Rally, but UAE does have that orbital ray. I still think it's rough either way.
Yeah, definitely desperation mode. There's the blinking underneath from Ewan. Is on the objective. We've got overtime going. Recall already used. Rally on this point from Nyx, and K-Bot's going to find Echo right out of the gate. Ewan's trying to back away. Give time for this. Woo! That was nearly a C9. I don't think it's going to matter, though. Every single player that has touched on this point, UA has sent them packing. It's just Ewan left, able to find Lao Zhu. But that will be the last kill on the map here for BC. We are headed to map 5 for the second time tonight.
What series we are getting today out of all of these teams. Just when you thought UBC had all the mojo and they were going to punch your ticket to the playoffs, UAE found their stride on the verge of a reverse sweep. What a series.
And it all comes down to this one last map, and you can't help but feel that all the momentum is on Alberta's side now. You know, we were seeing UBC force the swaps. We were seeing UBC set the pace. And yeah, that has changed entirely.
We will go to Escort for map number 5, and the map pick will be in favor of UBC. So at least they have that going for them. We're going to have to see if it's going to be enough, though, Jeff.
I mean, UBC got to pick the last 2 maps. Well, at least the last map. And it didn't do them much good. At least they picked the game time. I don't know. Is this going to be the one? Can they take it home here on Escort? We will find out after a quick break.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I got to take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, no, get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work them. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
Well, I was talking about the will to win after we came back from break, and the University of British Columbia are up 2-0 over the 5-1 Alberta. But man, Alberta dug deep and showed us some resilience of their own, tying things up and sending us to this map 5.
Very excited. I mean, the first series was absolutely insane. BSC taking the 3-2 victory, and now we had, I mean, you talked about, did UBC have the will to continue to win and punch a ticket to playoffs? But what UAE showed us was things aren't over. We're 5-1 for a reason, and we finally got things going. It's all going to come down to the final map. It is Escort, and the map that has been chosen is Shambali Monastery.
Alberta banned out Junkertown. So banning out that long range, British Columbia here with this final pick for map 5. Looking back here through our two teams, this is the third map 5 here for British Columbia this season. They lost both of the previous ones. This is also the third map 5 for University of Alberta. They are 1-1 in 5 map series so far this season.
And just to add on to that a little bit, this is our 10th unique map today. So
true.
That is very cool. That is very, very, very not often do we see that happen.
No.
Not only do we get 2 5-map series, but every map was different, which is very cool.
10 unique maps of Overwatch. What a blessed Friday indeed. Let's take a look at our rosters as we are going to get a little bit of a sub. Caboose is coming back in that DPS role. So we're not going to be seeing the double flex DPS like we saw with the Venture Genji there in map number 4. Your hit scan Caboose has returned to the lineup.
It's going to be the big question is a map like Shambali. I mean, I haven't seen that map played in such a long time. Like, literally, my recollection of this map is back when Ramacha was still good. Ramacha was being played on this map. Like, you know, based on what we've seen today, you know, I could see the Maugas, the Orissas, possibly the Junker Queen still working well on this map. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe Sig is still good on this map. I don't even know anymore.
I feel like this map is still very brawly. And, I mean, Ramatra has slowly been kind of peeking his head up in the meta from time to time. It wouldn't surprise me to see the teams go Ramatra. Didn't we see one of them pull out Ramatra on map 1? Did we see just
we actually did. It was on...
like, just for, like, a little bit.
Yeah, it was on Control Center for a little bit. Yeah. I remember. And this is his home territory, so it'd be fitting. We got Junker Queen on New Junk City, so why not get the Ramatra on Shambali?
Come on, show us some Ramatra Zenyatta.
I wish there were compositions where we saw those two together.
They gotta have some fun voice lines, you know that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
But all coming down to this. Shambali Monastery is where we decide, does UBC punch their ticket to the playoffs? We do have to keep in mind, UBC is not out if they lose this. It is just out of their control. They have their destiny in their own hands. Can they stop the reverse sweep?
Yeah, this would secure it right here and now. Otherwise, they're going to be watching another match tonight and just praying that fate shines upon them to get into postseason. But if UBC want control, they have got to take this dub, and it's going to start here on this defense. Funkdok is sticking with this Junker Queen heading into this defense, and
we see UBC on this defense is going to come out with the Junker Queen immediately going up against the Orisa from Quotient. And, I mean, Quotient has just been the big-time step up for UAE on this comeback. Let's see if they can continue to keep this up.
Yeah, spectacular performance on the tank in maps 3 and 4 in particular. Big reason we are on this map 5 in the first place. We're just going to get a higher ground rotation up to the top, where they're going to meet Funkdok's Junker Queen and the rest of UBC. Good wall up. They're going to find anything in the back, but it looks like it left a little bit of a gap. And Yuen's able to find an opening pick on Alauju with that rail shot. So the newly buffed Sojourn back in play here, and 3 quick picks for the defense.
That's the thing with the Sojourn is you pretty much got to get in their face and get on top of them, or they're going to find opening picks like Ewan just did. I mean, they attempted. They got a Maywall up, but Funkdok was able to use that commanding shout and get themselves just past that Maywall. So the Maywall was positioned a little bit better and blocked off Funkdok. Might have made a difference.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little corner on the side where they could all kind of escape around. Yeah. All right, second attempt. Second verse, same as the first, it looks like here from the UA. And that wall did not leave a gap. Much better. Still the shout is used, and Funkdok just runs around the pillar, but they lose K-Bot this time around. Mounting into a 2-for-1 trade. Oh, Funk Talk strikes back to even the odds. Great energy javelin to put them into the wall, but there was a good speed ring there, and I think Funk Talk was able to get out. Funk Talk just goes back in. Never mind out. Funk Talk is hungry for blood.
Funk Talk said, your backline is on the menu, and found them, and I mean, insane to me. So that was the thing. Great Maywell, and you didn't get the Junker Queen, but you forced K-Bot to have to get up there and help get them out of there, and you were able to get K-Bot in exchange. Funk Talk just made a huge play there and got 3.
Yeah, able to strike back and equalize. And then continues to push back in and the 3v3. You know, I thought Funk Talk was for sure going to try to back away and regroup. No. Just the unmitigated gall of Funk Dot. That will to win. Show it is here. Okay, now that's a good wall. No heals available. Funk Talk just out on an island, and the sound barrier is late. Once again, initiated by Explode. But Ewan strikes back without a tank. You've got to be kidding me. Ewan gets 2. Nyx lights up a 2 as well. And this fight is done with a late Terror Surge invested from Quotient. Okay, late pick on Ewan. Is that something? Maybe.
You talked about on the last map where because of the comp changes that were forced by UBC, NECC, who had been so good on the Juno, had to play the Brig on the last map. Back on the Juno, already making plays once again.
Yeah, we're back into that Juicio Cup, and you can tell this is a little bit more in Nyx's wheelhouse. Oh no!
Oh my goodness!
How do you find that kill? Incredible! I'm surprised that spear didn't land. It looked like it just passed through Magpolar, but still +1 as Quotient rounds the corner. Playing into the opposing orbital ray, but you can just stand tall through it. You go through and play in your own. That Project Grain is thrown out. Oh, the energy javelin right through the heart of K-Bot. And BC, you're now just backing away.
Yeah, I previously talked about how a good Gracie is like the most satisfying. I think second is probably this energy javelin hitting those. Rampage comes in.
Yeah, the Blizzard is there to back it up, though. Intimate 2 for 1 through all of these ultimates. Magpolar with the difference maker. It's a +1 to the defense as Quotient falls. 0.06 away from the cap.
I don't know if you've ever had those heart attack moments, Bullskug, like right now, like you win the point, but you're so afraid to even leave it because of like a back cap. You're like, no. That's kind of like
somebody can sneeze on the objective right and they get the point on the board.
Yeah, it's like, nope, someone stay here. I don't care.
Rally, the only ultimate available here for UA with only 10 seconds to go. They got one last chance here to grab this point to complete this reverse sweep. Wall is up, overclock is in. It's a low health bar from Prodigy Queen. They're going to go down. They can't get back to the rally in time. Lauser is still pushing forward with that ultimate. Still a chance here for UA to bring this home, especially if Quotient able to find that kill. Try to hunt down K-Bot, get him with the punch. Turn around, can't find anybody with the spear, but are just threatening to keep everybody off of this point. Look like Quotient is just bodyguarding the objective here in overtime. Nyx and Ewan have kills. Quotient's running out of friends around him. Explode falls as well. Nyx stays too elusive until the Terror Surge comes down, but Quotient falls. Prodigy Queen on this point. Funk Doc will take him down. UBC with the full hold here on map 5.
I'm speechless, Bullskunk. Nyx was just dodging. They're so good at dodging on that Juno. They're just floating above the point, circling and not allowing Quotient to find the kill on them. While in the meantime, Ewan is just completely free because Quotient is focusing on the Juno. Rightfully so. You want to get the healer down. But Ewan just free shot and got like 3 kills. Like, Nyx is such a elusive magician on that, just dodging. It's crazy.
I mean, I think Nyx is really threatening in my brain for player of the match here in that Juno role. Like, the amount of survivability they're bringing, I mean, that equals sustain. That is Quotient wasting their time, wasting their cooldowns, trying to hunt down a hero that they just cannot lock down. So you get added sustain just from this incredible movement. Nyx has been lighting up the feed, able to secure these final blows time and time again. Fight and fight again. The orbital rays have been magnificent. I mean, Nyx has been truly above and beyond here in today's matchup.
And now the line in the sand has been drawn for both teams. UBC, if they want to punch a ticket to the playoffs, essentially they got to cap the first point. I mean, it was a little bit less than that, but I mean, essentially just capping the first point.
I mean, it was 0.06 meters less. It was 6 centimeters less than that.
Yeah. So, I mean, UBC, you know, we saw them do it just now, so UAE definitely that is on the table for them. But it feels like UBC wants it, man. They finally got the momentum back in their favor.
Magpolar onto the Pharah. We are going to get the Juicio with the Junker Queen once again here on this attack. Okay, where's Magpolar? Magpolar going over this outside. I don't know if they've made this read yet. UEC have done it a 4-1 split, sitting the rest up the top. The wall in. K-Bot caught on the wrong side of the tracks. Ewan does have this rail, doesn't quite land it, and Magpolar's picked off.
Yeah, the wall did just enough to force out cooldowns and then get them low enough to be able to finish it off. So great first effort by Explode, but that's a pretty good field coming out from Ewan.
Of course, you're going to go ahead and drop down, pop the gold. Fortify use just to make sure this card doesn't get around the corner. It can get oh so awkward for the defense if it does, but good opening pick here from Magpolar. Make it 2. Doubling down. Look like Quotient is just surrounded. Quotient's just spinning in all directions, trying to fend off all the premier players. Magpolar eventually dies. Consolation prize. This cart's on the road.
This time it just felt like they're like, okay, screw going high ground. Let's force the cart and force them to come to us. And then that allows Magpolar to basically take control of the skies while everyone's worried about protecting the cart. And it worked really well. Now Magpolar's going to have a barrage to work with. I don't even know if they're going to be expecting Magpolar to be able to whip that out this next fight.
It's a pretty quick barrage. Although Caboose is close on the other side. Jab spin in, over the roof, Magpolar drops it into the back, doesn't land the direct, doesn't hit Q. Caboose takes him down, the peel was too good. Magpolar indecisive on that one, but Ewan was able to even the odds. 4v4, both missing a DPS. Orbital thrown in here from the defense, and UBC just kind of slowed their roll for a moment and let that... oh, but the wall is too good. They can't slow their roll, they cannot stop, they cannot slow down. UA takes the fight to them.
Explode coming through with the big wall. I mean, you do get the orbital ray off the board, so you're not going to have to deal with that for a bit. 2 minutes on the clock, so you're going to get quite a few cracks at this, and all your ultimates online for UBC. It's going to be a tough road ahead. I think this Rampage could just be the kiss of death.
Yeah, there's not much to fend it off. And I mean, this is going to be a 9 ult fight. Make no mistake, friends. Once again, Magpolar is going to come in over the top. Going to hit the barrage a lot quicker this time. You damn right. Combined with the Rampage. Oh, that was juicy. Orbital Ray thrown in. Rally is in. Caboose gets 2. Blizzard is in. It's a 2v2 left on this point. And Quotient is still standing against a Lucio. Oh, and the Soldier. The Sound Barrier fading. Ewan's able to get Explode onto the back of the 2v1. Quotient just taking too much damage. Takes Ewan down. It's a Lucio versus a Lucio left on this point.
With players coming back for UAE, so I feel like you got to definitely back up. We got Funk Doc going over to the Wrecking Ball, trying to come back quickly, but everyone's back for UAE.
The ball swap feels a little desperate. I don't think that was necessary. Somber into the mix as well. We're going full dive in on this one. Nick's already down and shot from Caboose. Quotient is just stationed right on the point. Not a lot to contest this beefy Orisa. And Caboose is fighting the range here in the final minute. 40 seconds to go, and Caboose with a 3K.
Yeah, last chance at this. The question is, again, look to swap off the Wrecking Ball because you get one final fight. I just don't know if this is going to have the gusto you need to deal with a very beefy Orisa.
Especially if ults start coming online. And I mean, this has to be done in the neutral. 60 is the highest. Quotient has 71. Ooh, the Terra Surge on point in OT. Quotient has to die quickly in this fight, I think. We'll see. Over the top, Funk Doc able to chase off one big high fly and pile drive into the mix. Hoping to get up closer to these mines, but they seem so far away. Combining into the back. Focus onto that back line. See if they can get that Juno out of the fight. Terra Surge used early, and Nyx is going to go down. It's going to be done with Lucio healing alone if UBC can get this done. K-Bot is close to that sound barrier. Laoju's already thrown those in. Explode is going to fight even out of the back line. Turn their attention to K-Bot. K-Bot doesn't get the sound barrier. UA, they've got the fuller hold. They will complete the reverse sweep and deny UBC a chance to secure a spot in playoffs.
Whew. Does feel like the Wrecking Ball swap was a little bit desperate at the end, completely reset their ult charge. They might have been able to build up to some more stuff there if they didn't do that. Very unfortunate, especially when the swaps came in to get back faster. Like, they abandoned they didn't have their hit scan anymore. They were playing Tracer instead. So you feel like the Thera might have had an opportunity to get a lot of work done there with no hit scan on the field at that point.
And there's so much time left. I think they thought that it was a 1v1 style fight, and so the vision from EBC was to get back faster, to get overwhelming force onto that objective quicker than the cavalry could show up for that defensive Alberta. It just didn't work out that way, and they end up stuck on these less than ideal heroes going into that final minute, and as you so importantly mentioned, reset their ult economy in the process.
Very unfortunate for UBC to lose in a reverse sweep fashion like that. Keep in mind, it is not over for them, but that is not in their control anymore. They need, I believe it was UNM Cherry. They need them to lose in order for them to still make the playoffs at this point. So, fingers crossed for them, and we're going to have to see if they can get lucky.
And UA close out an incredible season. 3 map 5s in 7 matches here for University of Alberta. They're able to win 2 of them, including this very important one here tonight. Meaning their only loss of the season was a map 5 loss as well, by the way, Ray. So they'll finish 6-1. And I mean, what an outstanding cap here is. We get to kick off playoffs next week, Ray. This is where things really amp up. I can't wait. I just can't wait.
I know. I mean, we'll get the week off next week for us, but we'll be back in 2 weeks, and very excited to see how that's all going to wrap up. It'll be the middle of the first round will be able to be those second rounds, so that's where we'll get some crazy matchups, and I am very excited. I mean, fall semester, it's so crazy. I feel like I blinked. Man, we're at the end of the semester already.
I know. Hey, you know what? Playoffs will be kicking off all next week for all of the titles brought to you here at NECC. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great few weeks here. I cannot wait. Really looking forward to it. Hope to see you all then. But that is going to do it for us here tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out. Really do appreciate it. Big shout out to our producer, Mossman, and our observer, Reach That, behind the scenes here tonight. But most importantly, thank you all to hanging out with us and enjoying this fantastic Overwatch. Y'all be kind to each other. It's been a hell of a regular season. We'll see you in playoffs.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. On the other side.
Go.
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky.
Hey, get the stick.
Yeah. Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.